Oh, we're
Is Nick
live.
coming on? Anybody else coming on? Or
I think that's just us. I've had that
we share them all the way. Oh, can I have one of those as well?
Good evening, everybody, in the chat room. We have Patricia, Peter, and Pete.
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Good evening. It's a little bit of a feedback.
Afternoon. Yeah. Hope everyone's had a good day today.
Yeah. We're not going to mention something, are we? You said you didn't want to mention it.
Oh, that. Well, yeah, I know someone who doesn't want to mention it as well. But I'm thinking to myself, it only happens once a year, doesn't it? So, I don't know why people celebrate it. Well, they don't celebrate it. I don't know why people worship it so much. When all it does is creates lots of stress for people. It creates an awful lot of stress. I mean, I've been talking to a few people, and I said to them, I don't do, this time of year, and I'm so happier for it, And then the person, she replied to me and said, she said, yeah, but you don't buy presents. And somebody we know remortgaged their home just to buy presents for her 13 kids. Grandchildren, sorry.
It's crazy.
I think it's ridiculous.
The things people do just to buy presents.
Just to buy their love for people.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy. But it's all part of the the illusion that
when it's just another day.
You can buy love.
Oh, right, yeah.
From Argos.
That's the only horrible thing about Christmas is it's like bought love.
Sorry?
It's like bought love.
Yeah. Bought love, yeah. I'll only love you if you buy me a Christmas present.
Yeah, and it's got to be the thing that I want.
It's got to be what I want, not what you want to give me, but what I want.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. That's why the best thing in my opinion, the best thing anyone can do for Christmas is boycott it. Just boycott it. We don't.
You can live without it.
We've got no. I haven't done decorations for years.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
haven't done it for years. Not bothered with it. Wasted time.
And it's over. This time next week, it's all gone, all over with, and everyone will still be.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, it sinks in that they took afterwards.
Sorry, I didn't catch the first.
You have to repeat that. That was a bit.
You spent a lot of money at Christmas. After Christmas Day, it starts sinking in that you've spent that much.
You wasted that much.
You wasted that much. Yeah, absolutely. It's because a lot of people's toys get broken. A lot of booze gets drunk, and people end up having rows and stuff. And you think, I've never bought that bottle of whiskey for you now.
I knew that. I knew that was the wrong thing to have bought him.
Absolutely, yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah, hate you now. You bought me something I didn't want. Hate you now. I'm not even going to talk to you ever again in my life.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. The sort of. Well, you can just basically sit back, look at it all, and laugh because it's just so funny. The things people get up to, and the way people behave over, the time we call Christmas, which is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
People dressing up in ridiculous costumes,
like elf costumes,
just like police officers, judges. What else? Undertakers. It's all
fancy
one
dress.
Fancy dress. We're surrounded by we're attending a fancy dress party. Even butchers have their own uniform.
Oh yeah, don't they? Yeah.
Butcher with their apron, red and white striped.
I reckon dairymen, people, milkmen. They should wear black and white like a cow.
But they even paint
the
lorries, don't they? Robert Wiseman dairies. You see their lorries going past, painted black and white like a cow. I'm surprised their horn doesn't go. It's just ridiculous. But we're living in the globe society, and so much ridiculousness in the globe society that you can't get away from it, and it's just crazy. But anyway, what should we talk about then tonight?
We were just talking about oxygen and plants?
Oh, oxygen of plants, yeah. Well, it's our understanding, and it's been our understanding for quite a number of, over a year now, that
Oxygen is a processed gas.
oxygen is a processed gas. So therefore, a plant cannot release oxygen unless it is given oxygen in that environment, or it has oxygen in that environment. Meaning, if you create an artificial environment, you put oxygen in it in the form of, say, sodium bicarbonate, then it will produce oxygen from the sodium bicarbonate. But you've still got to prove that there's oxygen in the air and in water.
Yeah, because our understanding of oxygen is that it's a processed gas, and a plant doesn't have the
physical
capability,
biology
to be able to produce oxygen.
Because if you look at the way human beings produce oxygen, it's compressed. Essentially, it's compressed, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's compressed through either heating, contraction, heat and expansion and contraction, compression. Yeah, basically that's how it's. Yeah, heat, expansion, cooling, and contraction.
Then again,
no. A plant can't do that with air.
Absolutely.
Can't do that.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the ability to do that, or the biology to do that.
But one thing a plant can do, and that's cleanse. It can cleanse
air, it can cleanse water. I mean, we've considered that a plant, given what we've done so far, we consider a plant basically filters the impurities from air and from water.
Yeah.
That's essentially what we think at the moment a plant does.
Well,
it does not release oxygen.
I mean, like trees,
unless there's oxygen present,
they can all act as a filtration system.
Absolutely, of course. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Because you'll always find that the air, when you go walking in a wooded area where there's a lot of greenery, foliage, and everything, the air is different to if you're say walking down a concreted street. The air is so much different, isn't it?
Or you could be walking in a park. Anyone can do this. Walk in a park and breathe in, feel, get a taste of the air, and then just put your head inside a tree. Open up the branches and put your head inside the tree. The air inside that tree is going to be a lot different. It's going to be a lot drier.
Absolutely,
because the leaves outside are all acting as a filtration system.
Absolutely, of course, yeah. I mean, you don't have to be a brain box to work out what plants do.
Well,
really?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, of course, yeah.
But it's quite simple, really.
Yeah.
But man makes it complicated. Because man just can't. It's like you put Neil deGrasse Tyson in a room and give him a game of drafts. Yeah. How long will he play that for before he gets bored?
Probably about 20 seconds.
Yeah,
maybe.
Probably, yeah. People get bored. And if they realise that life is so simple, a lot of people are just going to think, no,
it can't be this. No,
there's got to be more to life.
There's got to be more to this than just.
But there isn't. Life is a very simple experience.
And life is very basic, simple experience. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I suppose one of the things that humans have a tendency of doing is putting us on this high pedestal, looking down at all of the creatures on the earth, and saying, well, we're the best, we're the best, we can do this, we can build big cities, we can manipulate our environment, we can do this and we can do that. A chimpanzee can't do it, an elephant can't do it, blah, 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 blah. But we're no different to those creatures. We're no different at all. And a lot of people tend to.
It's amazing, though, that everything that we've been taught, everything is the other way around.
Well, yeah, we were having a discussion with someone who's leaving comments on one of our latest uploads, and he actually is, well, he mentioned in his type that we think that water decomposes material into its elements, whereas mainstream has it that it's the other way round. The elements are made up of compounds.
Yeah, or something like
Something.
Yeah, no, compounds are made up of elements.
Yeah.
Whereas we're putting it the other way around. An element is made up of compounds.
Yeah.
Like aluminium, for example.
And it's like if the government say unemployment is going down,
it's likely to go
in
up.
reality, it's going up. Yeah. So there's a lot of things, information out there that when somebody says that something's increasing, it could in fact be decreasing.
Absolutely. So when somebody tells you to look left, look right instead.
Yeah,
that's the key.
That's the moral.
I think it essentially highlights. I mean, when you go on YouTube and you look at an awful lot of videos, whether they're flat Earth, whether they're government conspiracies, whether they're whatever they are, it certainly makes you think that there's an awful lot of confusion in society. There's a lot of confused people around. I mean, for somebody to put out a video, say on YouTube, this is just as an example, but for somebody to put out a video on YouTube saying that there's aliens, okay, walking around us, there's no proof, there's no proof of that, okay, and yet they're saying that there are aliens walking around amongst us. I mean, how confused is that individual?
Well, yeah, because if every flat earther should have it in them that the aliens being portrayed as these beings from outer space is a load of nonsense.
Yeah.
So if some people in mainstream are actually putting across that the aliens are living amongst us, that's just a story.
Absolutely, it's no different to the globe Earth. It's no different to
Santa Claus.
All these planets and far distant galaxies and life-supporting Earths.
Yeah,
that are way out there. It's just storytelling.
Hey guys, you know that Marie Wheatley has found these elongated-headed people in around Glastonbury and Avebury, and they are a different type of human, just like Brian Forrester's been finding them in South America. They've got an extra chakra in their heads, and they built the long barrows. Anything round-headed person built the round barrows. The long barrows are built by the elongated-headed people, and they are subhuman. They're just another type of human.
I mean,
they lived here before us.
Oh, I'm totally unaware. But
Brian Forster, he's been out to the pyramids, hasn't he? That guy.
Yeah, he looks into all this stuff. I'm saying is they're having difficulty getting everybody to recognise that these elongated-headed people were everywhere. They're not just in a couple of places in South America. Other places are beginning to find them now.
You're talking about elongated as in
we're talking about their skulls.
Yeah, a bit like when they bind their heads. They've got like bulbs different on their heads.
Yeah, you see, the thing is, I did mention that there's no proof. Okay, now if we look at what you've just mentioned about these people with elongated skeletal remains of these people, race of people who had elongated heads, skulls or whatever. I mean, to me, that's evidence, but it's not proof. Because you don't know how they developed.
Well, because
the shape of their skull.
Well,
it's evidence. It's not proof.
Well, I mean, we could actually just what's the word? Think.
What my point was, even them, they're not flat earthers, but they obviously are open to the fact that history is a lie and many things aren't right.
Yeah.
They are struggling to get people to recognise what they found and what they're trying to explain. So I'm just thinking, like they're struggling and they still believe it's a globe.
But there's a lot of messed up people about that.
Absolutely. If you look at how people lived many, many years ago, there's no TV, there's no books.
I just wanted to say I do appreciate these people because, in a sense, they're going to find they've got keys to our history. They're, like Peter and Pete are doing experiments, and they have that part. These ones are finding out about our lineage, what we were, where we come from. So they still hold the key to our past. So I don't mean to put them down. I'm just saying they are struggling get people to recognize what they're talking about.
we're not. Well,
yeah, but they will be struggling simply because it's something that, in their view, happened tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years ago.
Yeah, it's very difficult to find proof.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's like when we look at the pyramids, for example, Stonehenge, or, you know, places like that, you know, we've got to think, well, where's the proof that kind of like the Egyptians built them? Where's the proof that, I mean, some people think like Eric von Daniken that aliens built them. Where's the proof of that? If there was actual proof, everyone wouldn't be, all of these ideas wouldn't be popping up here, there, and everywhere. You know, we all agree.
Pyramids came before the Egyptians found them. The Egyptians found them and then did like paintings on them and whatever.
There were some people think that the pyramids are only a few hundred years old.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, it's hard because we're very pragmatic people, so we very rarely go into conjecture. If we do venture into conjecture, then we'll say, well, it's a possibility.
Oh yeah,
well, we wouldn't say that. Well, it's true, you know.
Yeah, well, it's a possibility that the pyramid at Giza was on the banks of the River Nile, so that they could actually float the stones onto barges.
Yeah, so it's possible.
And they used water as a
possible
means to set the stones in place.
Set stones in place. It's a possibility. You know, but when a lot of people do tend to put things forward as being factually true when they lack the proof.
Yeah, but it's like, think about this one. The pyramids have been around. Everybody on this earth, I would have assumed, knows about the pyramids. Everybody.
Yeah, well, I think so. Yeah, I hope so.
You would have thought one person would have made a little model pyramid and constructed it in the way he thought or she thought they were actually built.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, just as a model.
We do know somebody that wants to do that. His name's Angel, and he's called Giza.com, and he's well into this, and he actually does want to. He does want to build the pyramids, but it's not that easy. You know, it's going to take a lot of money. He wants to make mini versions of them. He wants to see what they actually really did. He has his theories, but he wants to see it working.
Yeah, but you got to start off small.
If you can
tabletop,
the tabletop would be, yeah, absolutely, yeah. You'd have to scale down.
You've got to scale down,
and you know, because if you can demonstrate, this is the whole point. This is why we kind of like demonstrate a lot. We provide people with demonstrations, demonstrable evidence, so that people can see our point of view.
That
it's probable rather than possible. So the guy maybe should do something on the tabletop,
or even slightly
just
larger.
as a demonstration, just so that people can understand better.
Because a lot of these people, I know some people actually just do it on a computer.
Absolutely. I mean, what's the point of that?
You know, it's virtual. Ridiculous. It's not actual. Let's put it into practice. Those that watch this video of this guy in America.
Yeah, Angel worked out. I mean, I know maybe other people know this, but the pyramids are all at different levels. But if you actually could link up them, what's inside them, they all match up, but they're not the same level. They're on different levels. They just match up. If you could see what's inside them, and it all matches up with each other, but they're on different heights.
How do you mean by they're all on the same level? I don't.
No, they're on different levels on the ground. One's 10 meters or whatever it is taller above the other one.
So they're not on the same. They're not level. They're all built one slightly higher than the other, or whatever.
One's positive, one's negative, and one's neutral of what he's found. Those three. One's positive, one's negative, one's neutral.
So some people think the pyramids were electrical
generators, water pumps.
You know. It would be, you know, there was a guy in America who actually demonstrated how he could move a block of stone on a pebble. He actually swung it around.
Yeah, but it's right. Yeah, you can.
Which shows how easy it is to do.
Absolutely. You would have thought, actually, to be honest with you, you would have thought that human beings would have sussed out how they would have built the pyramids by now.
Yeah, no, yeah.
You would have thought so.
But they like the mystery, the confusion.
Yeah, I've got some. Yeah.
How did they do it? Well, I think they did this. No, I think they did it.
I mean, if you look at what is it, Machu Picchu in
Machu Picchu,
Machu Picchu, right on the top of the mountain somewhere, on the Andes, isn't it?
Yeah, that's one of them.
I mean, that's phenomenal. I mean, come on. I mean, how are you going to move all those stones up that hill?
Do you believe that the stones could have been made? I mean, they can, with technology, you can make the ground like a river. You know what I mean? They could have been moving stuff in different ways.
Yeah,
making it there.
But they could have been. It could have been in situ. They could have built it in situ.
Yeah,
because they could all be one block of stone, and they've just carved out the frontage, etched it out, so they appear individual blocks of stone. I mean, I don't know. Well, it's just an idea.
Well, because when you think, I mean, I don't want to sound a bit of a disappointer, but when you get someone who says, look, you can't even get a razor blade through the join in these stones, you think to yourself, well, is it actually a join?
Is it actually a join? It could just look like a join.
I don't know.
It could just be one huge block of stone. I mean, when you look at is it those large blocks of stone? Is it Temple Mount?
I can't remember.
I think someone.
In the chat, put it down like a jelly mold. Jelly mold.
Yeah,
jelly mold.
Temple Mount. They're huge, massive blocks of stone, all one piece, one huge, massive block of stone. So if you've got that stone, which is that much, I mean, it's that big. I mean, it's quite easy to carve it out at the front to make it appear as if it's made up of lots of smaller stones.
Oh, it's a bit like
it's only a possibility.
It's a bit like Jungle Surfer when he was promoting that a lot of the hieroglyphs that are done in stone in Egypt are all cast and placed on top.
Oh, the plaster cast. Fascia panels.
Yeah, they're just like fascia panels that just stick on top.
Yeah, and you think, well, it's plausible.
It's possible.
It's possible. When I mean, it's nice to have an open mind about things, really. But if you've got an idea about something, I don't. This is my personal view, and that is, I don't feel that anyone should put it forward as fact unless they've got some proof. Now, in all of our videos, we don't put across any of our ideas as fact, as being factually true. We don't do that. They're just our opinions. It's our opinion that plants don't give off oxygen. It's our opinion that water isn't hydrogen and oxygen. We're not saying that it's factually true. We're saying that it's just our opinion, and that's a big difference. A lot of people fail to do that. I feel,
especially in mainstream.
Yeah, mainstream puts forward things as being factually true. The sun orbits the Earth. Well, it's factually true.
The Earth.
The Earth revolves around the sun. We've got the solar system. It's factually true. The Earth's a ball. Factually true. But there's no proof, so it's nonsensical for them to be putting it forward as being factually true. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
you can't do it. Absolutely, yeah.
So you got to think as any individual should think. Well, what
what's the possibility?
What is true?
What is true?
What's the probability? What's the
possibility? Absolutely, of course. And and you've got to weigh things up for yourself. And if you feel that things are right and you feel that things are true, then obviously you don't have to think that they're factually true. You could just think, I think that you can just express your opinion on it.
Oh, I can go with that. I can accept that.
Yeah, I think I've seen so much evidence and so much information. I think that there was a race of giants on the Earth, but that's an opinion. It's people shouldn't be putting it forward as being factually true.
Yeah, but it's like this one. Most flat earthers would consider that dinosaurs are all one big hoax. Dinosaurs. So you tend to think, well, what about all these plaster casts that are in these museums? Well, they're all obviously not real, are they? So then someone comes along and says there was a race of giants on the Earth.
Absolutely, yeah.
So is it reasonable?
Is it reasonable?
Rational for any person to think Is this the same as the dinosaurs?
Absolutely. Is this true?
I don't know.
Do we accept this to be true, or do we, how do we take this information? We may see a photograph of somebody. I've seen photographs online of of one particular guy excavating this giant skull, and you think, well, okay, it's a photograph of somebody sitting there and he's dusting off this large skull, but that's all it proves. The image just proves that it's an image of somebody there with a giant skull or giant skeletal remains, but it doesn't prove that there were giants living so many numbers of years ago.
Well, it's like Robert Wadlow, the world's tallest man.
Yeah.
And you think, so how big was his skull?
It was.
How large was his skull?
I don't know. Absolutely. But you said another thing as well, and that is large people who are very tall, giants, nowadays in modern times, they generally have something medically wrong with them as well. So you could probably.
They're not in proportion, are they? They're not in proportion like we are.
Yeah, well, I'm sure.
But they could argue that we're not in proportion.
Absolutely, Well, I'll tell you something. When I look at some of the people walking around, a lot of them don't look in proportion. That's for sure. But when we look at as they get older and they die, and we look at their skeletal remains, say Robert Wadlow's, we may see some deformation on his hip bones, on his femurs.
Oh, yeah.
We may see some deformation.
I think it's one both ways. I think there were people who were taller, maybe 8, 9 feet tall, and there were people that were smaller. In Cairn, which is the next town on from Silbury Hill and the Avebury complex, you've got Marlborough, and then it goes through to Cairn, Calne. There's a row of houses where the doors are only about 5 foot, 4 foot something high. They're absolutely tiny.
Yeah, but
all these houses are all small.
But do you know of any people? Have you seen any people in your everyday walk of life who are short? I have.
Yeah, I have too.
I've seen short people.
Well, I mean, jockeys. I mean, horse racing jockeys. They're generally short people.
I saw a woman who was quite short. I looked at her and I thought, wow, we're all short.
I mean, it's a possibility. We're talking about possibilities at the moment.
And another thing also is that I think it's good to look at society as well, because many years ago, many years ago, if you had a group of short people, these people could have been ostracized
by society,
by the normal people.
I mean, can you imagine if you was a midget in Victorian times?
Yeah,
I mean, you'd be persecuted, you'd be put on a freak show. Yeah, world's shortest man.
Thomas,
people would be laughing at them.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's come a long way since those times when disabled people and people with some kind of medical condition were laughed at, teased by normal people. But these people were probably pushed out of society, and where do they go? So let's build them some houses in a I mean, it's a possibility, isn't it? It's possible.
It's a reasonable explanation that can account for why there's houses in somewhere near Glastonbury that's got front doors that are only 5 foot high.
I'm sure there's
but whether or not that's true is another
matter. This is just an aside, but the hill where they did the Hovis advert.
Oh right, yeah.
All of the row of houses there. I mean, some of those doors were probably quite short as well.
Yeah.
That's in Shaftesbury. It's just that hill they use.
That's right.
The town. Those houses.
They were.
But the houses in Cairn, they were old. They weren't modern. They were old.
But I'm sure I've seen like films or footage many years ago where you always see them like ducking their heads when they walk in the front door.
When they walk in the door, yeah. Oh yeah, a bit at the inn, at the tavern.
At the tavern, they always kind of duck their heads.
Oh right, yeah. I mean, yeah, but when you think about it, even that's stupid. Even that's stupid as well. I mean, why would you build houses that had low lintels, especially on the doors? And everyone's got to duck to get in. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Oh right, yeah, silly.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you don't know what to
Yeah, you think
believe.
it's
This
really
is the thing. Yeah,
But
you
it's
don't.
2018 and we don't really know anything. Like we don't know
Absolutely,
a
absolutely.
pyramid has been built. We don't really understand all that yet, or we don't know it for sure. There's just so many. It's everything. With 2018, I think we know it all. And we don't.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? When you think about it, 2018, and we as a collectively, we as a species know very little about anything.
And yet they know it's a globe. They know
absolutely
the makeup of the sun and the stars.
They know absolutely, yeah. They can tell you what's at the core of Uranus.
Absolutely.
Or Uranus, I should say. You know.
Yeah, no, that's what makes it all laughable.
That's what makes it all absolutely laughable. And yet people have the nerve to come onto our channel, leave comments saying you're a joke.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, actually, I've noticed that's the comment that they do like using at the moment. You're a joke.
Yeah, well, yeah, I've not.
Yeah, but we don't. Well, we have one commenter who says, "Yeah, never laugh so much in all my life."
Absolutely,
your videos.
Of course, yeah.
But we don't care.
I'm not bothered. Can give us baboon's backside at the end of the day. You know, it's only our opinions if people want.
Yeah, you know that hangout I was telling you about, the one I watched when I was asking you about maybe you changed your mind about something. You started off by going, "Yeah, all those footballers, bent football pitches, you know, everything curved."
Oh right, yeah.
The curved lines in the curved stands.
Oh right,
the curved seats in the curved
stands. The ball's curved, isn't it? Ball's but you know, I mean, it's ridiculous that when you really do when you start opening your mind and you start like looking at other pieces of information that basically question the mainstream narrative, you're beginning to think that, wow, you know, you don't know anything. And I don't want to go down the road of believing, you know, well, I believe the aliens built the pyramids, or I believe there was a race of giants,
or I believe there was this great flood.
Absolutely. I don't want to be doing that. So I tend to think to myself, okay, it's a possibility. They're possibilities, and that's it.
Well, yeah, basically.
Because I like living my life in a very realistic way. And as soon as I start believing in things, then I start projecting my mind to next year, the year after, the next decade, and I'll start dreaming and imagining about what I could be in 10 years' time.
Well, you might as well
just fill up my head with nonsense.
You may as well read a Terry Pratchett novel.
Absolutely, and detract myself from reality, from the here and now. And that is essentially something I don't want to do, because my life is now. It's not tomorrow. It wasn't yesterday.
Yeah, I suppose
it's now.
I suppose as a human being, I suppose it's quite healthy for people to live in the here and now, because they're more with it.
Absolutely, they're more with it. They're more clued up on the life that's going on around them.
Absolutely, and the people around them.
And the people around them. Absolutely. The trouble is, a lot of people don't like to see that, do they?
Well,
that's why they like their globe.
That's why they like Christmas so much.
That's why they like Christmas. You know.
That's what we are, though, isn't it? We're here and now beings. We've only got now.
Absolutely, but you try telling that to the majority of the population.
Absolutely.
You know, they'll say, no, I'm living for my holiday next year.
Absolutely. That's all
I'm going to Bermuda. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I'm living for my retirement.
Or somebody might say, I'm living for next year when we win the cup.
Oh right,
yeah. You know, it's we're a messed up species, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I think I mean, you could look at it in a positive way.
Look at it in a positive
because it gives people something to an aim for, a goal.
A goal, absolutely, yeah. It gives people hope.
Absolutely, hope.
Oh right, yeah. That everything's going to be fine next year when we win the cup.
Yeah,
when we.
I'm living for my retirement, 20 years time.
Yeah, well, the same thing. Looking forward to someone's retirement in however long. That's another hope.
I'm waiting to get my pension.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah,
no
absolutely.
longer have to work or no longer have to do this, but something might happen in between that cuts that short.
Well, that prevents you from doing even getting your pension, even retiring.
Absolutely, yeah.
You're
Like,
kind
my
of
boss.
good at that, aren't you? Because you're doing experiments and seeing things very differently because you're doing the experiments. So you're living proof of those things, aren't you?
Yeah, but I think it's good to have. You got to have it's good to have experience of something. It's like if somebody says to you, "There's a pink elephant roaming around," I don't know, Chester, for example. If you want to experience that and know that it's true, you've got to see it.
You've got to do it yourself.
You've got to come to Chester. You've got to look for it, and you've got to see for yourself that it actually is true, that it exists,
And that you're being told truth.
And there's that as well. And if you don't do
It's
that,
always been like this, though. Because if you could go back 5 or 10 years, would you ever have thought that you'd have been doing all these experiments and looking into things?
No. But they do give us something to do.
Absolutely, yeah, of course, yeah. I mean,
They do actually give us something to do.
I'd be spending more time playing my guitar if I wasn't doing.
And I suppose we have been kind of, we are interested in how things are made. Even like how pencils are made, or
bin liners, yeah.
How are things made?
How are things manufactured?
Yeah, it's all right getting the products, but it's good to have an understanding of what's gone into making them.
Oh, that's how they make those.
Oh, right,
I've often wondered how do they cut out that little edge there and press it in like that to give you that form. How do they do that? Then because of the internet, we've got so much information. You can go and find out how they do that. So that you become more knowledgeable. You become, oh right, okay.
But yeah, it's like if you're not exposed to it, you tend to look at a metal. Like these scissors. These scissors here, they're metal. And if you don't know much about metals, and because I never did, but now I look at these and these are just pieces of rock. That's all they are, rock from the ground. They're not metal as such.
Absolutely,
and it changes your perception.
Your perception changes when you start
seeing them for what they are.
Seeing them for what they truly are, because I think your value on things lowers.
Yeah, it changes. Yeah, because if you might see a guy driving an Aston Martin car, and a lot of people in the Globe Society go, "Wow, look at that car!
Wish I had that car.
Wish I had a car like that."
I bet he's got money.
Bet he's got a nice bird as well.
I bet he lives in a nice house. Bet he got a nice job.
Yeah.
Bet he goes on holiday.
But it's just a lump of rock.
It's just a lump of rock. That's all he's got.
That's all it is.
And bits and bobs from trees.
You value itself every day that you own it. Except if it's a classic car and it's that old. But I mean, you buy a car at this, and within a year you've lost half the price of the value of the car, haven't you?
Yeah, but the money's irrespective.
Yeah, the money's irrespective.
Irrespective. But the fact is that the way you perceive it it's not. You don't see it as value.
No,
it's just a car.
It's value. It's
value.
It has no value.
I do understand what you mean. What it is money is just money, and the people were much more important. Now, if we handled money like that, it'd be better. But money is the most important thing. Money.
For a lot of people in the Globe Society.
Absolutely. Well, even for a lot of flat earthers, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, I suppose because everybody needs money, because we're in a money and
not really.
It's important. What I'm saying is that money now is the matter. It's the most important thing. It should have been the people that were the most important, and money was just something used to buy things. But money is the god now, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I think people do worship money more than God.
Oh, yeah.
They worship money.
So money is the new religion.
Money is the new religion. It's usurped with God, Jesus. That's all rubbish. But, money, people will do anything for money.
Well, within reason.
Well, everyone has their price. Even I would agree with that. Everybody has their price.
Mm.
And the worst thing is that the very people who run the Globe Society have got the money.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So, you know, there's a group of people in society called flat earthers, you know, who feel a lot hard done by in life, you know, because they probably must do, because they're being anti towards the Globe Society.
Yeah, they're not going to get money thrown at them.
So they're not going to get money thrown at them, but they still need to use the Globe's money in order to get on, survive, and
in the Globe Society.
In the Globe Society, because everything is owned and run by the Globe Society. So it's a big conundrum, you know. I mean, it's a big conundrum, isn't it? Really, when you think about it.
Yeah, but anyway, it's more.
That's why a lot of the Globe Society. This is my understanding, but the rulers or the owners or the people in command, as it were, who give us the platform so that flat earthers can get together and talk and put up videos and do this and do that. They're not bothered about us lot because they've got the money. They're not bothered because people like myself, people like Peter here, lots of people doing videos aren't really going to change reality. On the internet, yeah, it can change an awful lot, but in reality, it's not going to change much because they've got the money.
Then it'd be very difficult to change the currency.
Absolutely, there's an awful lot of people they give money to people to protect that vested interest of the money. They pay an awful lot of people,
an awful lot of money
to uphold the Globe Society and to uphold the value of money. You know, I speak to so many people, you know, and a lot of people value money. They talk about money all the time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You know, it's quite pitiful, really. But you know,
hey ho.
Absolutely, yeah. It's quite saddening, really, because it puts you really into reality, and it makes you think that, you know, what are we, 3 years into Flat Earth since 2015, nearly 4 years into it, really. You know, how much has changed?
How much has changed?
Not that much. I mean, I would have thought it would be revolutionary.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but in another sense, it has moved along quite a lot. Maybe you're not into conferences, but things like that are happening, more experiments, you know.
Yeah, but from where, I mean, we're in a very royalist city where we live in Chester. I mean, you know, it's the monarchy, you know, it's and you know, I've spoken to a lot of people in Chester about, you know, flat earth and stuff, and you know, we have our monthly group meeting, we've done a few presentations, and to be honest with you, I mean, a lot of people are still in the closet, still hiding away in the closet. I don't see any change at all from this time last year.
Well, I mean, there are. I mean,
personally, that's my personal opinion.
If you check like channels like Jeranism and Richie from Boston,
absolutely, yeah.
But their subscribers are going up. They are increasing in number.
But so is everyone else's.
Because
more and more people are switching to YouTube and to the internet, and they're ditching television. You know, they're getting rid of the rubbish. But you know, from the street level, you know, on street level, nothing really much is changing. I mean, how many new people have we had coming to our meetings? You know, none. You know, as regulars.
Yeah, because what we find in our group meetings, people come along.
They come along.
We don't see them ever again.
We don't see them ever again.
Do you feel that it's sort of getting a bit more ugly out there? Is it because we're waking up and more sensitive, or is it that these people are actually getting more zombified and angry and ugly? And what is it? Do you think it's because we've woken up more, and every day, you know, if you're a true flat earther, it's not just about the land, it's about everything. It's about your spirituality, and you know, we're learning and growing every day. These hangouts, people like you, and you look out there, and I'm just like, it's getting worse. It feels horrible out there.
Well, when you think about it, it is getting worse. Really,
if you actually put yourself, say, if Pete here is out on the streets of Chester talking about flat Earth, and you had someone walk past there from the, this is just my own opinion, this is, but I reckon if you did a survey on their most top 10 thoughts as they walk past, the biggest one is, can't believe this, what's the world coming to?
Oh, what's the world coming to? Yeah,
what's the world coming to?
In other words, you see, it's great, this flat Earth stuff. It's superb that so many people are kind of like banging on about flat promoting it, and going out the street and doing this, making their videos. It's brilliant because what it is doing is that it is reinforcing the value of money. Because people are losing the value in other people.
Because a lot of people think,
and that's the downside of flat Earth. That's the downside of the whole. Because even what we do as well, you know.
Well, because a lot of people think, I just can't believe what the world's coming to. I just don't know who to trust.
I don't know who to trust them. You know.
That's true.
So what they're going to do is they're going to trust money.
They're going to trust what's in their bank account,
because they know that will buy them a pint. They know that will buy them their cigarettes. They know that will buy them their holiday. They know that will buy them this and that. And
run their car.
That will run the car. People are nice to them if they give them money. That is guaranteed in this society.
Yeah.
And that is the most disappointing part of flat Earth. That is. I think that's the most disappointing part.
Well, I can
trust levels are right down, but people are trusting money more because money won't talk back to you. Money won't question you. Money won't give you a hard time. Money.
No, it's only other people that give you the hard time.
Absolutely,
it's only other people who.
But if you've got your money, you can trust that money. You can trust it 100%. Won't let you down. Your tenner, will always buy you something.
Yeah, basically.
And this is not good. Not good. But
But then I suppose.
Do you have? I'm sure I've asked you before, but do you have lots of people in your family that you can talk to, or are you sort of on your own?
Well, we talked about what,
talk about
about flat Earth and what you're doing, and everything's a lie. I mean, around you.
We talk to loads of people.
We're not frightened, do we? We talk to.
Absolutely, I don't have a problem. I don't have, I don't feel that. I tell loads of people.
We go to our local supermarket.
Absolutely, yeah. We tell everyone that a lot of the staff there, when they're standing around doing nothing, we say, hey, it's all rubbish, isn't it?
Yeah,
because it is, especially when you look at all of the shoppers.
Rubbish.
Well, they're demented.
Well,
walk around the aisle, carrying the basket.
I went to the supermarket earlier and I bought some vinegar for some future demonstrations. Yeah. And I knew the checkout person, and they said, "Oh, so you got some vinegar? What's the vinegar for?" And then I was doing things with some carbonates, because you kind of like reinforcing that you're challenging mainstream understanding.
Absolutely,
on a lot of things, not just the shape of the earth, but the makeup of water, electricity.
Oh yeah, where do you reckon that the air came from? You were telling us just before we went live. Bicarbonate of soda, is that it?
Well, the oxygen. Because I looked at a bit of information and someone had written the formula for sodium bicarbonate in a different way, and they separated the oxygen.
And
the oxygen wasn't linked to any carbon. So I'm thinking to myself, how could that have happened?
Yeah.
If you want to mute that, you should mute that. You won't get.
Wait, sorry, I do apologise. There was you and me there. But yeah, sure, yeah. But we just think the oxygen comes from the sodium bicarbonate. That's why they put the sodium bicarbonate in, because if you don't put the sodium bicarbonate in, you're not going to get it. The plant's not going to release or generate the oxygen.
Yeah, because
It's all a contrivance, it's all a load of rubbish, unless of course somebody can actually prove. Now we're talking proof here. We've been in touch with some Globie who's he comes across as being well into his chemistry, and I'm just saying to him, just go and prove that there's sodium bicarbonate in the natural environment. I mean, think about it this way. You set up your demonstration. Okay, you go to school and they're telling you plants give off oxygen, part of photosynthesis. Now we're going to demonstrate this in the classroom, and what we're going to do is we're going to get an oxygenating plant, okay, pondweed, alodia, kabomba, whatever you want to do. We're going to have an inverted funnel, put the kabomba in the inverted funnel, position it in a beaker, fill the beaker up with water. Okay, we're going to add some sodium bicarbonate to the water, so we've got a sodium bicarbonate solution. Then we're going to flip over we're going to invert a test tube, put it over the top of the funnel, and we're going to collect the gas. Put a light on it and leave it for a while. The gas will displace the water, and then we'll take the test tube off. We'll put a glowing splint in, and we should produce oxygen. There you go. Plants give off oxygen. Now, can anybody tell me where sodium bicarbonate is in the natural environment? Is it in a pond? Is it in the air?
No.
It's none of these places. At the end of the day, science is all one big contrivance to make people think in a certain way.
Well, not all science.
Not all of it, but a lot of it is. Another great example is the solid iron core or the molten iron core of the Earth. Allegedly, from the information we've seen over the years, all of the iron was at the surface. So scientists have been very perturbed as to how all of that iron managed to get to the core. How did it happen? So what they did, these scientists, was that they got these silicate rock pieces
or
whatever, something like that, and they made two pieces and they put them together, and then they squeezed at high pressure molten iron, wasn't it? I'm sure, through them, and it ended up at the bottom, and they said, voila, that's how the iron got there.
Yeah.
If you think about it logically, what they're doing is that they've got the story, okay, and then what they do is
they're fitting the science.
They're fitting the science to they're getting the
creating the science to
creating the science to fit the story, to fit the agenda, to fit the narrative.
Because what they failed to explain is what was in the middle to begin with,
and that's why they've got no proof. Because there's no proof that their narrative is true. So essentially, it's so easy to pick holes in all of this rubbish.
Well, it's like if it's true that plants photosynthesize, then when you come to do a demonstration on photosynthesis,
you shouldn't need sodium bicarbonate.
Any carbonate should work.
Any carbonate should work.
Any supply of carbon dioxide should work. But
absolutely.
No. You have to.
They only recommend sodium bicarbonate. And you think, well,
why is that?
Why is that? It's because it'll give you the results that they want. They want the oxygen there, so they will obviously use and recommend sodium bicarbonate.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely. And what about other plants? Let's get rid of the oxygenating pondweed. What about another plant that's aquatic? Well, another plant that's aquatic that's not oxygenated? Well, why isn't it oxygenating?
Absolutely.
Why? It's ridiculous. Why don't we see the bubbles in our aquariums or in the fish giving off all these bubbles of oxygen? Has anybody seen an oxygen bubble rise up and disappear in the water and dissolve?
Dissolve. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The whole understanding that people are given is just ridiculously stupid.
It's rubbish.
It's rubbish. People don't realise how much rubbish there is in this society.
There's lots of it.
There's phenomenally lots of it,
and not just down your household waste recycling centre.
Absolutely. It's not just in chemistry.
There's rubbish on your TV.
There's rubbish on your TV. There's rubbish in your newspapers. There's rubbish in your magazines. There's rubbish on your advertisements that you get. There's rubbish in your shops. There's lots of rubbish online. There's rubbish everywhere. This whole society stands for rubbish.
Yeah.
Nobody can argue that. So the best thing to do is boycott it. You know, have as least contact with it as possible.
Absolutely.
You know,
in our opinion, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. This is only our opinion, but I mean, you know, it's rubbish to vote. It's rubbish to watch television. It's rubbish to read magazines. It's rubbish to read newspapers.
Yeah, well, you go into
think about it. You know,
you go into the local supermarket. It's a classic one as well. You go into your local supermarket, any supermarket across the country, and they'll always have a newsagent's kind of stand where they're always selling magazines. You walk past, anyone walk past, and you will see pictures of happy, smiling faces on front covers. You turn around and look at the shoppers.
Absolutely, they don't reflect the reality.
They're not reflecting reality. It's putting on a show.
It's one big show for people. This is something a lot of people fail to realise, and they walk out the front door. You're entering into the show. It's the big show of the globe society.
The world's a stage.
Absolutely, you know, and you know, there's a lot of people pretend. A lot of people are acting their part. You know, it doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter what they believe in.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know,
yeah. Could be a police officer. Could be a bus driver. Could be a wife.
Could be a wife.
Could be a husband.
Could be a teacher. Now, teachers are brilliant. Now, teachers. I mean, they're lovely people. They are. They're always pretending.
Oh, they're always pretending because they always have to be positive.
They've all. Oh, Lucy, that was wonderful what you've just done. Whereas somebody would have thought, "Oh, that was absolute rubbish."
Rubbish. Yeah.
You know, it's being realistic. But we're in this society where, you know, especially at school, where teachers have to be very appraising towards their kids. You know,
even if they're not very good.
Even if they're not very good at something. You know, but if you're always appraising someone who's not very good, how are they going to improve?
Absolutely, and also, a lot of kids might think, well, why aren't my parents like that? When this teacher is always praising me on how good I am at doing this, but my parents aren't like that.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, when you really do think about it, it's absolute rubbish, isn't it? People get a bad deal from the globe society. You know, I mean.
Because this society that everybody lives in could be so much better for people.
Could be so much better.
So much better.
Irrespective of how much money you've got, irrespective of what social status you've got, you still get a bad deal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the thing is, you may not realise it now, but you will realise it at some point in your life. It is inevitable. You're going to learn.
It doesn't matter who you are.
We're better when we're learning, aren't we? When you're not learning, you've kind of died inside.
Yeah, but the trouble is that a lot of people in this globe society learn when it's too late.
Absolutely, this is the trouble. This is the trouble. I mean, I've met people in my life who, you know, they're in their 60s, and you know, you think to yourself, wow, you should. Well, you know, well, if you don't know that at your age, you know what I mean?
No, I saw. I've mentioned it on one of the videos, and that is, I saw a bloke a few weeks ago, and he said, I just cannot understand why people get angry. I can't understand it. And he's always using words like to explain things, but he's always taught to describe things. He's always using words like, that's beautiful. Oh, they were lovelier when I heard them play. They were lovely.
That's gorgeous.
Oh, that's good. You know, always that's pretending.
Yeah, even I think, you know, I mean, yeah.
But he can't understand why people get angry.
Yeah,
and this guy's retired.
Oh,
and I'm thinking,
yeah.
he just hasn't a clue about life and people.
Absolutely. I mean, there was. I mean, I've been on a few kind of like. I've done some life coaching in my time, and you know, I'm well aware of being positive, you know, towards other people and all this lot. But I tend to think that it's best to be realistically positive. In other words, don't always say that it's beautiful when you think truly that it's not.
Yeah.
Because some people will say, oh, that's absolutely wonderful, wonderful, Charles, wonderful, you know. But it's you know, it's okay. It's really okay.
Yeah, but
You know,
but
oh, it's okay, Charles. But maybe you could think about improving on this side or that side. You know, I mean, if we're always being ridiculously pretentious to other people all the time, you know, how are people going to know where they actually stand with us as we exchange in our relationship with them? Whether it's a teacher, whether it's a friend, whether it's you know, anyone really, our work colleague.
And
you know,
where does honesty come into it?
Absolutely, of course. I mean, I wouldn't want somebody telling me, "Oh, that's wonderful, for every single thing that I did, because I think there's something wrong with you." You know.
Yeah. But one thing that this does highlight, and that is the duality of life.
Absolutely, of course.
How people can be, you can interpret a situation in two different ways. I could say something now, and two people can interpret what I say in two different ways.
Absolutely, yeah. It's like a good example of that would be you could be at work, okay, and you could be taking it easy, sitting down, talking to, say, customers, for example, or whatever, and your manager walks past you and says, blah, 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 blah.
Well, so you've got a lot of time on your hands.
Absolutely. So, oh, see, you're taking it easy or something.
Oh, right.
Okay. Now, the person may take that in two different ways, a positive way or a negative way. They could think, oh, he's getting on my case because I'm taking it easy and I'm not working. Okay. But on the other side, you could take it in a good way. And you're saying, oh, well, you know, what's the word? You're increasing customer relationships, you know, because you're talking, being chatty, being friendly, offering good. It's all good part of good customer service. It all depends whether your glass is half empty or half full at the end of the day, and that goes across the board at the end of the day. You know, it really doesn't matter when you're talking to people or when you're communicating with people on YouTube, on your videos, in the comments, or you know, whether you're out at work and you're talking with people. It's all down to how you respond to everything that's coming in, being thrown at you. You know, how do you want to see it in a bad way? This person's being negative toward. Okay, so if you're going to react in a negative way back, aren't you? More likely to. Whereas, you know, if you take it in a positive way, you know, you see the positive side of it, then you can respond more positively, and you'll get through it a lot easier. You know.
So it's all good stuff, really.
Absolutely, yeah. It's all too many people.
When you go on the streets and you do your flat smacking, what do you find people are like? Just what you said, or there are a lot more open people now?
Yeah, but again, going out on the streets brings about a lot of negativity in people. Absolutely, yeah. That I would say that's quite true. A lot of it, going out on the street does bring out a lot of negativity in people. I mean, people laugh, people walk past, call me names. I mean, I've never been kind of like physically touched, you know, or I've been, you know, just called names. And that's about it. I mean, Vic seems to get the worst end of the deal, really, because he gets involved in a chat with, say, someone who I think is going to give me hassle, and then after the bloke goes, I always see Vic and he's in a bad mood. So, you know, I think, well, I'm not, but I just generally have a very good attitude when I'm out on the street, and you know, I go out, I'm not bothered, you know, because I don't have a problem. I'm just expressing my views. I live in a country that's supposed to be tolerant of other people. You know, I'm tolerant of other people's views. If people want to talk about God, that's fine by me. I'll endure it. If people want to go stand at
sell the big issue,
I'll endure it. Walking past them and having to endure big issue, please, sir. You know, and all this lot, or the homeless people wanting money, or people just generally annoying, selling rubbish. I will just endure that, you know. But so I think as it's only fair that I'm able to go out and do my bit. That's why I'm always positive when I do go out. And you know, if people come up to me and say, "Look, you're loopy, man. You know, you're loopy if you think the Earth's flat." Blah blah blah. And I'm thinking, but you know, I don't care. Well, thanks for your opinion. You know, it's very kind of you. You know, I sound like a bloke walks past me, and he might say twat or something like that as he walks past, and I'll actually tell everyone, you know, oh, this guy's just walked past, call me a twat. You know, Because I think, you know, it's nice for everyone. I'm a very transparent guy.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's nice to show these people up to be what they truly are, and that's miserable.
Because one thing I think is good is when you see the people who actually, when they walk past, they actually laugh. They don't genuinely laugh.
It's more of a snigger.
No. They actually, you know, when they kind of like belly laugh.
Oh right. Like that bloke who walked past wearing the hat.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah. And they just they're just so pretentious with the laughter.
Yeah, you don't feel that it's genuine.
And you think you could look at these people, you think these people have got real mental health problems.
Absolutely, of course. Yeah. I mean, when you really do think, when you do think about it, yeah, there's an awful lot. When we talk about the pretentiousness of people, oh, that was lovely, that was beautiful, and all this lot, you get to see that kind of behaviour. Okay, just when people even laugh, because their laughter isn't genuine. You see, one of the things that I was when I've done a few courses on things, you know, even somebody said to me about authenticity, and authenticity is something to be treasured. A lot of people are not authentic. They're not authentic with other people, and they're not.
Leah in the chat room has been writing about that. You know, why can't people be authentic?
As they are, yeah, open, honest, and truthful. Yeah, I mean, it's, well, in my understanding, you know, people have got to put on the pretense as a way of coping and dealing with their lot, as it were. You know, maybe they're in a bad relationship, maybe they don't get on at work, and they really dislike their boss, or they dislike their work colleagues. Maybe they just don't like life, maybe whatever, and they have to pretend in order to survive and endure. You know, but you know, I just think it's just crazy, because when you're out on the street and you're being truthful, you know, and you're saying, well, I think the earth's flat, it's my opinion, I'm well within my rights to express that opinion, and people are laughing, you know, it's so, I suppose it's quite sad in a way, because you know that these people aren't genuine, and they're pretending, they're putting on this pretense, and you can never get to know them. They're putting up this barrier between you and them, you know, this pretentiousness. That's the key, isn't it? And the not getting to know them,
yeah,
as individuals.
But the worst thing is they don't know themselves, who they are.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, life is all about getting to know who you are as a person.
If you don't know who you are, how are you going to know how anyone else is?
Absolutely, of course. So, you know, there's an awful society, well, you know, globe society, as well as a lot of other societies, has its problems. And you know, at the end of the day, I mean, I would I very, you know, I'd probably say, you know, I do hope that say a flat earth society wouldn't continue and adopt the same kind of problems. You know, I mean, the whole point of, in my understanding, the whole point of, you know, like us doing what we do, and flat earth, in my understanding, is a way to change things. But you know, if people still adopt the ills of the globe society, then you know, what's changed? You know, nothing. So what's the point of it? You know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because it's fine. You know, it's fine. Like in America, they've got, like, Denver could be the first capital city of flat earth. So you might have people on the council and this, that, and the other. But people are people.
People are people.
Doesn't matter where you go.
You know, absolutely, because you know, yeah, like I've said, you know, flat earth signals a change, and if people aren't prepared to make the change, you know, then what's the point of it? What's the point? You know,
yeah.
It's just another ridiculousness, you know.
Well, because they still had wars when the earth was flat.
Absolutely.
When people knew, sorry.
When everyone considered the earth to be flat, you know, what were people doing? Were people at loggerheads with one another? You know, were they not getting on with one another? Did they still have their rulers who were living it up while you still had the poor at the bottom? You know, what's going to change? You know, this is the thing. You know, we've got to be so careful about what's unfolding before our eyes. You know.
Yeah, but I think a lot of it, I suppose, for us is that flat Earth isn't just about. It's not just about looking at the world around you. It's also about understanding yourself as an individual and how you are with the people around you.
Absolutely, cool.
And that interaction. So it's not just, there's a lot more to it than just the shape of the Earth.
Do you find it a little bit frustrating now that not everybody's waking up?
Sorry, Karen.
Sorry, do you find it a bit frustrating that not everybody's waking up? That you've got like all this experiments going, all this understanding, and like 99% or whatever it is, 90% are just like blind.
No.
Change.
We understand that people have got problems. People have got personal issues, and people would much rather. People like the dream to rather than the reality of their personal issues.
Yeah.
So those are going to be a big hurdle for anyone to overcome in order for them to see or to become more closer to reality. I mean, there's only a few people who can literally get close to reality, isn't there? Really?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
only a few people, because a lot of people just can't. I don't think people can cope with it. I don't think people can cope. They're not psychologically. They don't have the right psychological frame of mind.
They're not educated properly.
And they're not educated properly as well, to be able to be able to live.
I mean, it's quite
knowing that there's a lot of bullshit about, knowing that this is reality. This is all we've got.
I know it's quite, because a lot of people have watched that film with Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson. I've forgotten what the film was called, but he was in Top Gun or whatever, I don't know. But there's Jack Nicholson.
You can't handle the truth.
But when if you actually stop to think about that,
it's so true.
It's so true.
A lot of people
can't cope with the truth.
Absolutely.
It reminds us when we did a video about where we showed a clip of this guy, this pink shirt guy.
Oh right, yeah, pink shirt man,
and he
wore a pink shirt.
He had a discussion with a flat earther, and he's more or less saying, how is flat Earth going to help me?
Absolutely, yeah. How is it going to change my life?
How is it going to change my life?
A lot of people, think that. I mean, what are you doing flat Earth for? What's it going to change? What's it going to? How's it going to change my life?
Yeah, I know, and I think it's that I think that's a hurdle.
That's a big hurdle, yeah,
for the flat Earth community. To actually, this is where flat Earth people should be working together to come up with some kind of strategy on how best to put across how flat Earth can make things better for people.
Absolutely, of course, yeah.
And if we're not going to do
that, the trouble with that is that the trouble with that is that you've got people, and at the end of the day, you've got this new kind of like community within the global society. You've got the flat Earth community, and they've taken on board the ills of the globe society. So they're already impressed in the community. I mean, I'm well aware of it, and how can you? What's the point of it? What's the point of changing it? What's the point? How can the flat Earth community help Pink Shirt Man?
Well, it's like when you look at they've recently had the Flat Earth conference in America, and from what we haven't really kind of been involved in that, looking at what's going on and looking at the video, what's been going, who said what, and this, that, and the other. But when you actually look at what was the itinerary of it was unfolding, that it was becoming more religious based. That's something that we're not interested in.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a large proportion of people who are flat earthers who just aren't religious.
Absolutely.
Peter and myself are two of them.
We're not religious at all.
Religion religion is a belief system, and yet it's the people who hold up, who hold beliefs, who are saying to these globe people that you're holding beliefs too. But you know, it doesn't jive. It doesn't make sense. So it's okay to hold beliefs, but you're holding a belief. So why can't I hold my globe earth belief?
Oh,
You know,
well,
it doesn't make sense. Whereas there's people like Pete and myself, and who are saying that we don't hold any beliefs because we don't need them.
We don't want them.
We don't want them. We don't want beliefs. We don't need them. It's illogical to have beliefs. You know, this is the big. There's so many issues, isn't there? Really, when you think about it.
Yeah, no, yeah.
You know,
and for some people, you know, if you're a flat earther and you're not religious, and you can see that it's being steered, let's say there's an organisation, a flat earth organisation that's being steered by a religious group.
It's a big turn off, isn't it?
It's just a turn off.
Turn off, absolutely.
You know,
I mean, if somebody come up to me and they said to me they believe in God, I mean, come on. I mean, they don't even know what God is.
Yeah.
I mean, how can I, you know, how can I ever accept what someone is telling me to be true if they're telling me they believe in something that they can't define, you know, so I know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I know it's
ridiculous. It really is, you know. So, you know, there's so many people. It's unsurprising why there's so many people going their own way with flat Earth. It's unsurprising why so many people are in the closet with flat Earth, because there's not really a community as such, is there? On the peripherals, yeah.
I know what you mean.
But there's no communities in the globe society.
You know, we know someone that's got Arrow, Looming project, other ways of being able to look after ourselves. There are people starting to really get projects going and so forth.
Yeah,
you can't overnight, can you? You can't do these things, and everybody's having to do it out of their own pocket. It's not like they've got $50 a day to.
Yeah, you're using the Globe Society's money.
Yeah, well,
and you know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, we're using the Globe Society's money to debunk that a lot of their chemistry is utter nonsense.
It's utter rubbish. Well, how ridiculous is it? You know, but there's so many people out there using the Globe Society's money to prove to other people or demonstrate to other people that the Earth's not a globe,
or that the Earth is a globe.
You know, or that the Earth is a globe. I mean, it's ridiculous. What the whole.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. You know, it's absolutely insane. The whole country, this whole UK, United Kingdom, is filled with demented people.
Well, it's
insanity. It's an asylum.
When it's been like, if anyone who's watching this discussion now, if anyone went in and got themselves a new job, for example, think, oh, this is great. You know, they'd all be very kind of, you know, energetic and all this stuff. But after a while, they start beginning to see the cracks. They start beginning to see how certain people behave and what people get up to, and they begin to realise how it actually works. You know,
how it works. Absolutely.
And they start seeing the nasty, the not the nasty side, but the dirty side,
the negativity, underneath all that glamour and glitz and pretentiousness.
For a lot of people, they'd go and get a different job because they don't really want to see all that kind of negativity. Where some people would stay there, and it's very much like
it's a bit like Esther Ransom at the BBC.
Well, it's a bit like Esther Ransom
with Jimmy Savile,
absolutely,
for example.
Yeah. But the Globe Society is very similar in the sense that you can actually be part of it, but as you get older and you start living it and you start looking at the news and this,
experiencing it,
you start seeing that it's a load of rubbish.
Absolute load of rubbish.
It really is a load of rubbish. I was thinking about one example. One example of watching the news. The news, our local, this is a great example, another great example. Why is it that whenever there is a change of political system within your local authority, they always get rid of the chief executive to replace them with another one that they want? You might find that your police crime commissioner gets ousted out, and you get a new one in, and then the next thing you know, the police constable
It's changed.
is changed, or is reprimanded because they're under investigation for
Whatever.
misconduct,
Misconduct.
and they lose their job.
There you go. And
Like-
only
like-
to be replaced by someone who the police commissioner likes.
Yeah.
This is the ridiculous part about it all.
It's crazy.
We all boil down. It all boils down to the humanness of life.
Mm.
Even in the Globe Society, you've got the ills of the world, haven't you? In the Globe Society.
Yeah.
Okay, you've got those who don't like they don't like them, and she doesn't like him, and Theresa May doesn't like him, and all these people don't get on with one another. They just can't seem to get on with one another.
This United Kingdom.
The Welsh don't like the English don't like the Welsh, the Scottish don't like the English don't like the Scots, the Northern Irish don't like the English. All of this stuff. The Scots don't want to be part of the UK. The UK don't want.
Everybody doesn't like each other, though, don't they? They've made sure on that.
Say again.
They've made sure that everybody doesn't like each other. Black, white, whatever it is, whichever country, whichever, Native Americans, the whole lot. Making sure everybody doesn't trust, doesn't like, doesn't care.
Absolutely. But you've got to ask yourself, is that something that comes from like ground level and is like a disease amongst everyone? Or is it something that comes from top down? Yeah. Because I tend to think that even in your working place, for example, you will get that as well. You won't get on with that person you'll get on really well with. These are the things that everyone should be aware of, because when you think about it, how can you ever have a true community when you don't get on with him, or she doesn't get on with you, and he gets on with her better than you? And people, I don't want you in my little club. We'll have you because I like you. This is what it's all about.
We'll have you because you're religious.
Oh, do you believe in God? Oh, great. We'll have you. You can come in.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
You're an atheist. No, go away.
We're not interested.
Or you're Labour. Oh, yeah, great. Come on into our club. Oh, you're Conservative. Oh, you don't vote now. Go away, mate.
Not interested, yeah.
This is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. This is the type of behaviour that you see throughout all of human societies. And I have to admit, it's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? When you really do think about it, it is ridiculous.
Well, yeah, but if everybody was on the same level,
if
it was a level playing field,
absolutely,
and people had a much better education about life itself,
absolutely, yeah,
things would be different.
Things would be a lot more different,
because people would be placing more value in people and not other things.
Here, dear boy.
And it's so, that's why this society, this globe society, or even a flat earth society, could be so much better.
Absolutely, of course.
But hey ho.
But yeah, I mean, I've got to admit, there's you've got people throughout history who've kind of like been, some people would say revolutionaries, but what have they actually changed? Nothing's changed at all,
Well, look at Gandhi.
I mean, look at Gandhi, for example. I mean, what's changed? Who truly runs India?
Mother Teresa.
What, I go into my local shop. For example, Asians running the shop, Indians, for example. Yes, boss. I'm not your boss. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, I've had that as well. Because Indian people, I mean, I'm only speaking from my own personal experience, but because the Brits ruled India, Indian people disliked it at the time and absolutely hated it. So when they come over to this country, they start calling all us white people, yes, boss, because they're taking the piss out of us.
Absolutely. Well, they're mocking it.
They're mocking us.
Absolutely.
Yes, boss. Yes, boss.
But it's just, I suppose it's just sorrowful, because you don't know, nobody truly knows what's going on in India, who truly runs the country.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who truly runs the country in this country, in the UK. Is it the Queen? I mean, I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
Well, I don't think so.
No, nobody knows.
It's certainly not the people in Parliament. They don't run the country.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, because the Queen she's just the manager, she's just the CEO of UK PLC. Yeah, she still has to do things that she may not want to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a lot. Every job, whatever job you do, there's always a bit of the job that nobody dislikes. People dislike doing.
Absolutely,
I really can't stand doing the books.
There's always someone over you.
Yeah.
Who you've got to make sure the books you've got to answer to. Always somebody.
Yeah.
And it's probably the same with the monarchy.
Even if you're a manager, if you're a manager, there's things that you have to concede. You have to give into.
You can't have your way.
Absolutely, because you've got no say in it.
Absolutely. The monarchy may want to create a new dukedom, for example.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's her intention, Liz's intention. She'd like to create a new dukedom in a certain area of Wales, for example. Okay. So she says it's all her bods, but she's up against so much resistance. No, you can't have it. You just can't have it. The Welsh don't like it. Okay. So what's she going to do?
She's going to scrap it.
She's I can't have it. Yeah. You know. Well, I can't. She can't. People can't have everything how they want it all of the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Life isn't like that because everybody should know that we have no control over our lives one bit.
Well, that's a bit hard to swallow for some people.
A lot of people say to me, "Oh, life's what you make it," but that's absolute rubbish. In my understanding, and it's always been like this.
Oh, well, yeah.
Life is what life makes it for you.
Well, it's like, it's quite easy for someone to get into a car and drive down the road, and then somebody else hits you as you're driving down the road.
Absolutely, yeah.
And puts you in hospital.
You know, nobody asked for that.
Can't walk again.
Absolutely, nobody asked to get cancer. Well, you know, I woke up this morning and I've just developed lung cancer. Never even smoked in my life.
Yeah, I know.
Well, how have I got that?
Wow.
You know, I've done everything possible not to get lung cancer, and I've developed lung cancer.
Wow.
Well, what do you know?
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, each of us got to realise that we don't have any control over our lives.
Yeah. It's a bit like Karen when you mentioned it earlier about they reverse things over. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you haven't got to sleep.
The same thing is with when the Globe Society promotes, you can control your life.
Yeah,
you take control of your life.
Take control.
You can do what you want to do. You can do this. You can
absolutely, of course.
But they've switched it around.
They switched it around. Absolutely, of course.
You have no control over your life.
I would say that
you can't do.
Yeah, because some people would say, but what about goals and ambitions?
Oh right, yeah.
Now somebody would say, but no, you can determine where you go.
But goals and the goals and ambitions involve other people.
Absolutely. Are the goals and ambitions that you strive for, that you let's say you wanted to buy a house, you've always had that goal of buying that home. So you work, or do whatever you want to do, go and rob banks or do whatever you want to do. You get the money and you buy that home. You've got something that you've always wanted. That desire has come into fruition. But we've got to ask ourselves, where has that desire come from? You know, it may not truly be our desire to have that.
But this all goes back to knowing oneself.
Absolutely, of course.
And if you don't know yourself, then your desires could just be whims, because they're somebody else's desires, not your own.
Absolutely, yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, it's a very, very, very it's a minefield, really, and that is the people on the earth. They are a minefield, essentially. Yeah, feel quiet there.
I agree. You know, I agree, and when you work it out, that they want you to believe that we are traveling on this thing doing about Mach 80 in 3 different directions, and then there's this globe in the middle, 0 at the poles, doing 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. It's ridiculous.
All to stop you from knowing you.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's only there for a specific reason. You've got Genesis, many years ago, singing the song "Land of Confusion." I'm sure quite a few people have heard that. But I mean, so true.
Mm.
There's so much confusion in people's minds.
Mm.
You go out and talk to people. People are confused.
Mm.
You can, hello, anybody there?
Yeah, I know. There's nobody there.
Or what they're talking about just doesn't interest you because you're thinking it's rubbish.
Mm. Because it's not about them. It's about.
Well, it's about a TV program that you don't watch TV, and
and it doesn't figure in their life.
Or it's about a political party, but you're not voting. So
television. Television.
Oh, television, yeah, television, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean,
it's rubbish.
It's absolute rubbish. But we don't.
Has anybody got any?
Have a little look.
Is any of your
TV anymore?
Sheeps and Neeps.
Big hello to Des.
Yeah. Hi, Des.
Hi, Des. Yeah. Who else have we got? Tim Forlatter. There we go.
I'm just trying to think. Where do I sign into chat?
Don't you go? We already are signed in, aren't
we? They say. Then it goes.
No. Oh no. Don't worry about it.
I don't know. Oh no.
Oh. Sorry. Well. You've got to.
Oh no, that's fine. Yeah.
Sorry. But anyway, I mean, somebody sent me a link to an article that I've got to, or that we've got to cover in one of our videos about oxygen being so low in a lake that the fish died, and I'm thinking to myself, it's just absolute rubbish, because there's no real proof that there's oxygen in the water,
No, there's none. Yeah, it's because a lot of it is just contrived. It's all storytelling. A lot of it, storytelling.
Absolutely, of course.
Have you ever used to watch the telly, or have you been the kind of groups that played music, did the kind of things you're doing now, or did you used to sit in front of the television, feet up all day long?
No, we the last time, because we have sort of lived together for some time, but there's been breaks in between. But the last time we had a TV was 1995.
Yeah, and 1995, and I wouldn't recommend anyone buying one at all, or even watching it, because it's crap.
Well, if you can have a TV, well, it's good for a monitor for the computer. You can
watch the internet. Go on the YouTube or something.
But for TV, mainstream TV, just go. Wouldn't recommend anyone have TV.
Absolutely. I mean, the best thing about the television is it creates jobs for people.
Yeah, but the trouble is,
that's true though. Yeah. I mean, I watched a YouTube video on this guy who was a Cyberman in a Doctor Who episode. Okay, and it was a day being a Cyberman, the YouTube video. So he followed him during the day. So he got out, got in his car in the morning, off he went, got to the set, as it were, got dressed up in his little costume. Do you know what I mean?
Fancy dress.
In his fancy dress costume again, just like you do when the judge does when he goes to work, dresses up, goes out,
dress,
does his little performance, as a Cyberman, and then he goes home. And I think it's just rubbish.
Yeah, but he's just doing a job.
He's just doing a job. That's all it is. It's just a job.
Hey, I wonder if Patricia's there. Patricia, are you there? What would you say to that when you hear Cybermen? Is she there?
Delete. I love Cybermen.
Oh, she loves Cybermen.
I mean, when I was younger, I used to like a little bit Doctor Who, but we used to, now, I look back at the series, I just think it's just rubbish. Sorry to spoil all of those Doctor Who fans out there, but it is what it is. It's just people dressed up, performing on a stage, or TV set, and you know they're acting out.
And you, even I, you know, you look at it now and you think, but they're just human beings in these costumes.
Yeah.
Whereas when you were younger,
Absolutely, yeah.
the magic was there to think
Well,
that, you know, that these were real.
Well, it was all
Daleks.
possible. Well, it could be possible that there were Cybermen.
I used to hide
around.
behind the sofa. Those things used to, the Daleks, they will exterminate you. It used to frighten me as a kid.
Yeah, but the trouble is with TV for young people is that the young person is actually thinking that what's on the television is actually real.
Absolutely. You know, there's a
Whereas
good
it's
possibility.
not.
Absolutely. Yeah, they lose a sense of reality. As soon as you're glued in front of a television, you lose a sense of reality.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Because because the signals that are coming from that television and entering into your, you know, your perceptive awareness is breaking that connection that you have with true reality,
because
it's interfering with it, so you can't connect with it.
Because if you're a young person and you're seeing this Tom Baker fighting the Daleks, for example, you think it's actually happening out there. I mean, somewhere.
Absolutely. I mean, when you think about it,
world
as a child, I mean, it's wonderful if your parents just don't get on, because your parents are glued to the TV and they're not rowing and shouting.
Tell you what,
it's great for that purpose.
I want the TARDIS. Because it's huge inside, and it's the size of a telephone box. It's huge inside. Patricia loves Doctor Who, don't you, Patricia?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're really the worst people to talk with, really, about Doctor Who or Star Wars, anything space.
We've all got our own things that we like, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely, but I think the big thing is that we've got to be realistic about them. And okay, you know, people like Star Wars, for example, and all these science fiction programs and films, movies, and everything. I mean, that's fine, but we've still got to keep ourselves in reality and just accept these things for what they truly are, and that is they're just movies. They're just drama on the television, science fiction, but entertainment.
Entertainment.
That's what they are.
Patricia has to spend a lot of time at home, and I don't think she watches nearly as much television as she did, because she's on these hangouts and she helps me and she's a good friend. But she just likes the program. She sees it for what it is.
Oh, well, yeah.
Sure. Well, it's better than watching Question Time.
Oh, yeah, better than watching Question Time. Yeah.
You know,
All the news.
All the news, absolutely. You know, but
I used to watch that. I used to like that. But now I realise it's all a complete load of rubbish.
What's that, Question Time?
Yes, and it's all set up anyway, isn't it? Before they go on, the questions are
Nobody's got what's the point of asking these people questions when nothing gets done? You know, I can't work it out. It seems a no-brainer.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
What's your view on why the Germans don't have upped their inflation rate so that it puts the British pound at jeopardy and lots of jobs? What's your view? I mean, who cares? It's not going to solve anything. It's not going to change anything. So what does it matter?
Why talk about it?
But
it's just entertainment.
But it's just entertainment, isn't it? That's all TV is. Passes time. A lot of news is entertainment, you know. It's when you can laugh at the news, that's when I know that you've cracked it, you know. When you can actually laugh at the news, because it's just so funny, you know.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know, say a bomb goes off somewhere and they don't show you any damage.
Oh, right.
I mean, you know, that's funny.
Oh, yeah.
Weathermen pretending they're like wasting water and they're not, and stuff like that. And I watched one where these two reporters, they said they had a satellite link up, that they were sitting in the same car park, and the cars that were going past one were going past the other. Yeah, they were on a satellite link up, supposedly. And that was nothing to do with that. So they're just lying. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but it gets you down after a while. That's the trouble. The more you know. I mean, some things in globe society are very impartial. They're very, you know, wildlife. That's why a lot of people like David Attenborough. Now, why David Attenborough is such a an admired guy is because he deals with animals.
Yeah,
Now, animals are harmless to the human species.
Oh, yeah.
They don't talk back to you. Your dog doesn't moan. You have complete control over your dog because you don't have to feed it if it doesn't do what you want it to do. You know, your cat, animals don't do what humans do. Okay. That's why people like their wildlife programs.
Absolutely.
David Attenborough in Gorillas in the Mist,
Oh, right, yeah.
or going to the savannas of Africa,
Or wherever.
going on safari, because they're harmless.
Absolutely,
Yeah. They're harmless programs. They're a bit like science fiction, Doctor Who as well.
And your Brian Cox when he's playing with his pebbles on the beach.
That's absolutely harmless. They're all harmless. But there's an awful lot of television programs that are very, very damaging.
Absolutely. Yeah, they've got these hidden messages, haven't they?
Yeah, I think it's when they do give out the wrong messages. But I think you've got to have the right mindset to be able to watch television and enjoy it. I think you've got to have the right mindset.
Yeah, because I think one of the things is to have it in your mind that TV is just entertainment.
It's just entertainment, yeah.
That's all it is.
It's not real.
It's not real because it doesn't affect your life at all.
Absolutely, yeah. You're still. It's like the internet as well. The internet's the same because you're still in your room or wherever. You're still at your computer, still at your tablet or on your phone. You know, nothing's changed. Yeah, absolutely, nothing's changed there. So yeah, it's just a different form other than your television.
Yeah, but I would say
not them. You know, people on this hangout are listening to you, not.
Yeah, but I would say that the internet is more constructive.
It's more constructive, the internet. It's more interactive.
It's more interactive.
Much more.
TV.
Television was, I always found TV to be just, you accept what we're telling you. You know, it's just one way. Everything came out of the box and you had no say in it other than just switch it off or switch channels.
Whereas the internet,
you can. Yeah. I mean, we go on. We go on a certain YouTube channel. We've got no interest in it whatsoever, but we watch because we kind of like. And we post a comment, and we got a reply from the guy who runs the channel, and we're thinking, wow, we've got in touch with the main man, as it were.
Yeah. Try doing that with your TV.
Try doing that with your television years ago. You mean you'd be.
Well, even now,
you know,
I'm saying
it's absolutely.
But you know, can you imagine writing to Philip Schofield and say, Philip, can you change the colour of your hair?
Absolutely,
please. Can you change it to dark? Can you change it to black?
I don't like the studio. I don't like the studio setup. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Can't you have blinds on those windows?
Yeah, it ain't gonna happen.
You know, whereas you can do this with YouTube channels. For example.
It's like Joe Mama when we did the song.
Absolutely, yeah. When we did Joe Mama's song, he's waking up is hard to do.
He did the lyrics, and when we did the live feed, he was there on the chat, and he mentioned about you and me doing the song.
Absolutely.
So I reminded to Pete, should we do his song? So we did it.
We did it. And but it's somebody who has had influence in our presentations.
Yeah.
That and this is what people like. They've got more accessibility, whereas years ago you never had that.
So
on the TV.
Yeah, the beginning of your video says it all. That man, you can be really intelligent and yet so stupid.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the only reason why we copied that part was because it's true. It epitomizes people. Because people can have 5 degrees, they can have a PhD, they can have this, they can have that, but when it comes to life, they've got no or very little knowledge of it,
and they can be stupid,
and as a result they're stupid. As a result, because you're only stupid because you lack knowledge of real life.
Yeah,
that's all.
We were actually. This is for people who are listening, but I did mention earlier to Pete that what we could do is we could actually ask people if they want to say a few one liner. In other words, we were thinking about replacing Charles Fockars.
Replacing Charles with something new.
With something new.
Somebody new.
With somebody new saying something.
If somebody's got
at the start
if somebody
of
wants
videos.
to, if somebody wants to produce a small, very short little intro for us, saying something very profound.
Very profound, very short.
If somebody wants to, then feel free and just email it.
Or just let us know.
Let us know that you've done it, and we'll watch it and have a little look.
Yeah, because even that, doing something like
we
that.
We can put another one in front of Charles. We can keep Charles up.
Oh, well, yeah. But even doing things like that gets people involved in what we do.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, our news ticker. We've had some feedback on our news ticker. I'm sure you've seen it, Karen. And our little news ticker at the bottom on our videos, and you know, a lot of people have said that they're okay.
They're okay. They're pretty pleased.
And quite a few people actually do provide us with news feeds, don't they?
Yeah.
But which is great. But it's allowing people participation. I mean, what would be great is if we're able to have some people on the show, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think
that would be.
Yeah, we need to.
Work
out how we can do that.
How we do that? Yeah, sure. But
because it would be good
I
for
think
us. It would be good for us to do the interviewing.
Absolutely, but I don't think a lot of people like that, would they?
I'm not sure. Well, I don't know.
Well, yeah. We could have you on there, Karen.
Yeah, you could come on, Karen.
I'll come on.
So and then you could be interviewed.
We can interview you. We can interview you about I don't know, about the sun and moon.
Sun and moon.
Sun and moon. You know how long you've been going. You know,
and your best clips.
Your best clips. Who's been your most memorable person you've ever had on?
Oh, you can't say that.
I can't say that.
You can't ask that.
I can't ask that question.
No,
is that being biased?
That would be
shows favouritism.
Nepotism. Yeah.
I suppose so.
Can't ask that one. Because in Karen's mind, everybody.
In all my questions, I've asked you.
What questions have you asked?
Those I've asked you those in the past. You know, like what's your this, what's your that. You're just picking my questions, but yeah, I'll come on if you want me to.
Yeah, we'd have to set. Well, I don't know how we'd set it up. That's the problem.
Maybe something in the new year, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe say for next year.
We could probably do it if it wasn't live.
If it wasn't live, we could probably do
it. Yeah,
but but it's not live anyway.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Anyway, but anyway, that's something food for thought for next year. And next year, what have we got planned? We've got probably go out with Vic when it gets warmer, do some more street annoyance.
Yeah.
annoying people about flat Earth, and telling them that they're basically living on this
spinning,
not living on this spinning ball.
Oh, we are.
And they're given a lot of rubbish.
Yeah, we probably will do another presentation because the one we did in November was we had a really good turnout for that.
Yeah, we had good turnout. Yeah,
we had over 40 people.
Yeah, the room was
nearly packed.
Nearly packed. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So what we probably do, because we'll talk with Vic about it.
Yeah.
Or if Vic's listening already.
Vic's listening,
and that is do one every 6 months.
We could do one every 6 months.
So do 2 a year.
2 a year. I think that would be quite good, actually. Actually, that would be okay. Yeah.
So we could do get more. What's the word?
Well, stimulate people's minds.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because that's what it's all about. I mean, a lot of people are zombies and they're brain dead.
Or just knowing that there's someone there who thinks the Earth is flat
is enough.
Is enough in itself.
I could just stand there with a little placard saying the Earth is flat. You know, I could just stand there. That's all that matters. That's all you'd have to do.
Yeah.
Have you seen lately a lot of people are coming into the chat room and they've got concave. What do you think about that one? Just asking.
About what one? Concave. Concave Earth. That's I'll this way. Well, to be honest with you, I'd still like to know how the water can stick to the inside of a sphere.
Yeah. And so you still got the same arguments that you have with the ball earth.
With the ball earth, you've still got the same arguments.
When everybody's experience of water is that it always,
you see,
finds its own level.
I think if we go to the shape of the earth debate, I mean, we really don't go into it that often, really, because nobody can provide conclusive proof what shape the earth actually is, so we tend not to go down that road. But I think the whole flat earth kind of like drive movement, or over the past few years, it's given a lot of people the opportunity to question the actual shape of the earth.
Well, not just that,
but an awful lot of other stuff.
Things.
I think we're going into a time when people are questioning more or less everything.
Yeah,
aren't they? And so it's okay for someone to think the earth is a ball, think the earth is concave, think the earth is banana shaped or whatever shape, but it should only be just that. It's just an opinion. I'm not going to deny somebody's right to hold an opinion and to express that opinion, but it's up to me whether I agree or I disagree, whether that opinion's right or wrong. I mean the earth could be concave, but I've not seen enough. Nature doesn't tell me that the earth is concave. As far as I'm concerned, everything exists in my brain. My brain creates my physical reality.
In your head.
Absolutely, it's all in my mind.
Yeah, because we're kind of we can both consider that it's a simulation.
Absolutely,
we live in a simulation because everything that is out there
is inside
your head.
Absolutely, and as soon as you start talking simulation, there's no way you can disprove it. There's no way you can prove it.
Absolutely,
but it's just an opinion.
Yeah,
that's all it is, isn't it?
It's like saying to the old flat Earth nemesis, Wolfie 6020.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's like saying to him that we live in a simulation, and like
the guy doesn't get it.
The guy doesn't get it.
He doesn't get it that when he dies, his whole world dies with him.
Absolutely,
he doesn't get it.
He doesn't get it,
he thinks that he thinks.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, he thinks that it will
still be there. Absolutely, but it won't.
But it won't.
It's a bit strange that our world does pop up a bit like a simulation, like a computer game. When they're running and everything popping up on the screen as they're running, it all coming up in front of them. That is how our world is. It just keeps appearing in front of us.
Yeah, when we wake up.
Yeah, when we wake up and open our eyes and we're aware of what's around us.
Absolutely, yeah.
But a lot of that is it's like if you look at the sun and the moon, for example, that they could be intrinsically programmed. I don't want to. I'll use that word loosely.
By our biology.
Programmed
Absolutely.
by our biology. To be timed in a certain manner,
absolutely,
to appear in our brains.
Absolutely, of course,
at a certain time.
Absolutely,
at a certain place, or not place, but a certain time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Absolutely, yeah. The thing is that us as human beings are mere mortals can never truly come to know nature and life itself. We can never know what the moon is, never know what the sun is, never know what is or whatever.
We can only experience it.
Like
everybody else.
Yeah, and once we experience it, we have knowledge. But there is so much that is beyond our experience,
human comprehension.
Absolutely. So we can only provide conjecture and everything, and that will be the same for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, however long the human species remains as we are.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about, one thing that I can agree with religious people is when they say we are all equal in the eyes of the Lord. Because if you actually think about it, we are all equal. We are all the same.
Absolutely, yeah. We all experience life in the same way.
We can't Brian Cox doesn't experience the sun in a different way than I do.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just because he's got loads of money or
he drives
in
his own car or whatever,
he still experiences the rain, the wind,
the clouds, the sky.
Yeah, he still experiences
the water,
just like I do.
Absolutely, of course.
But I may be more in tune with that than he is.
Absolutely, of course.
You know,
but you know, it's I suppose for some people it's kind of disappointing because a lot of people would like to have answers as to what the sun is, what the moon is, and what's here and what's there. But those answers aren't going to come.
Well, in
our opinion, though, we feel that answers like that are way beyond human comprehension.
Absolutely,
way beyond the abilities of humans to be able to fathom out exactly what the moon is, exactly what the sun is, what drives everything. Way beyond.
Because if we did know, if we were able to know, this society certainly wouldn't be the way it is.
Absolutely, yeah, sure.
This society would be so much better.
Well, to be honest,
it would be, wouldn't it?
When you think about
it, if we had the ability to know what the sun was, to know what the moon was.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
There would be no pain and sorrow on this plane.
And also another thing is, and that is what makes a scientist with all these gadgets and gizmos and instruments any different than someone who's living in a tribe in Africa.
Absolutely.
In a mud hut in Africa. Nothing. There's no difference between those two people at all. So how can that person have a better understanding of life than someone living in a mud hut? It's absolutely ridiculous to ever look up to these people in lab coats, thinking that they are gods or they are priests or whatever.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And they're better than you.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Never look up to other people. Always look into yourself. Which is very true.
Nice few words there.
Absolutely, very profound
words.
Absolutely, but it's so true. I mean, a lot of people. Some people come up to leave comments on our channel, and they say, "Well, what do you think of this and that and all this? What's your opinion on this?" And I'm thinking, why are you asking us?
Yeah, because
but people should be developing their own analytical skills.
You'd like people to be able to talk with you, not at you. You'd like to have these conversations and talk with these people because they've actually researched and things.
Yeah. I mean, what makes my opinion any different or any better than anyone else's?
Well, yeah, I know. Yeah.
Because I'm no different to other people. I'm no better than other people.
But there are some differences because some people can come up with a much better explanation. Than other people.
Doesn't mean to say that they're right, though, does it?
Well, that's the point. Yeah,
you see, the thing is, it all boils down to our proof. You see, the thing is, I know, Karen, you mentioned earlier about the giants, the guy with his skeletons, always he's finding it very hard to convince people that this, that, and everything. But at the end of the day, it's all about proof. And proof is something that is very, very difficult to actually get.
Yeah, but you and I are both into, what's his name? Fred Hoyle.
Fred Hoyle.
Who thought up the steady state theory.
Absolutely.
In a nutshell, the steady state theory is basically...
It's always been the way.
It's always been the way it is.
Absolutely.
And it always will.
But that was displaced by the Big Bang theory. Okay. But the thing is, that if you look at it from a commonsensical point of view, we experience the life, our environment, given the tools that we have, our eyes, sound, ears, all of our perceptive abilities, and they haven't changed for thousands and thousands of years. So why should the Earth change? Why should the Earth kind of evolve from this Big Bang and then develop and grow older when,
Our
our
feelings,
biology,
emotions haven't changed.
absolutely, our biology hasn't changed over 3,000 years, or even 50,000 years, if we've got recorded history or whatever, you know,
or however long.
Because so why should the Earth change?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So if what I'm saying is, my point of view is, if our senses and experiences of life haven't changed in, say, 50,000 years, why should the Earth have changed in 50,000 years?
Oh, it couldn't have done.
It couldn't have done, could it? Because
we're not actually sure about the history anymore. Like you already said, we can't work out whether it's a couple of hundred years ago or thousands of years ago because they've lied so much.
Yeah, but
I
you
agree.
just don't know. You just don't know.
Well, I mean, but some people could say, well, what about rivers drying up and with erosion?
Oh, like the Grand Canyon, for example.
Like the Grand Canyon, for example. It could have been a
1,000 years ago,
bigger river. It could have been a bigger river.
Because the Colorado River runs through it, doesn't it?
Yeah, sure. It's possible. So things may have changed. Small things could have changed.
But you don't know, because even I thought a few years ago that we could be a new race of human beings because the old ones died out.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't know, do you?
Who knows?
Who knows?
I can't prove it.
We can go into a discussion, debate, can go into conjecture about, you know, how the Earth evolved or how it has remained the same, how things have changed from a geological point of view, how cultures have changed over the years, you know. But you know, we've got no proof.
Oh, it's a bit like when if you actually think about it. You know, you think about mainstream. Mainstream promote that you've had the Big Bang. Human beings have been around and they've evolved from apes. But that's the best they can come up with.
That's it. That's the best they can come up with.
That is if that's the best they can come up with, because they can't think of any other explanation.
Absolutely, they can't think of it. It's because they're limited in their own biology, but we're trapped in our own imagination. We're trapped in our own biology. We cannot think the unimaginable.
So man has to create these fake things like dinosaurs to support the best he can come up with.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that doesn't say much about the human species, does it?
An astronaut.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's laughable.
Absolutely,
it's laughable when you think that there's people who are in an aeroplane or in a studio
I know.
pretending
to be in space, outer space,
absolutely,
in a space station,
doing 5 miles a second.
Doing 5 miles a second, working out on their exercise machine. Hi. It's just so laughable.
But then you've got you switch screens. You've got the Houses of Parliament, MPs, all those to the eyes of art, you know, and that's all the same. It's all a pretense. It's all a show.
That's right, yeah. Because it's all part of the show.
It's all part of the show.
Yeah.
You know, when Alexander Logie Baird, wasn't it? Who invented
Graham Logie Baird.
Graham.
Was it Graham? No, that was Graham Bell.
Alexander.
No, John Logie Baird.
John Logie Baird. Whoever invented the television. People up top were going, yeah, we've got something that we can promote as a show to
people. Show, we can show people what the show we want them to believe,
to think.
Absolutely, you know, I mean, it's absolutely, because we've got to remember that the people up top, you know, they perceive society in a totally different way than what we do, you know.
Yeah.
Because they're in a very privileged position. They can actually look down and they can say, well, you know, what can we do with those group of people over there? You know, how can we get those people over there to move over there, for example?
Yeah.
You know, how can we have more people in this area here? Oh, this is how can we get more taxis coming in? or if we look at from a monetary point of view, but you can see the dynamics of how it's all engineered to be the way it is.
Yeah.
My ex-father-in-law, he used to design bottles to make it look like it was the size that it was, but he's always taking a bit away because they're always giving you less. But it sort of looks the same size and looks almost the same.
Oh.
It's just they've done things here and there and they're giving you less. I never thought about it.
No,
I remember these things now.
Oh yeah, but they made the caps thicker so that you can actually open them. So even though they've made the plastic bottles thinner,
Yeah.
the tops, like your milk bottles,
Yeah.
the milk cans, the tops are a bit thicker, and they've got a grated. They've got a more of a edge.
What's that got to do with what Karen's talking about, though?
Well, she's talking about cans, bottles.
Bottles, yeah, but you get less for more money.
But it's the same with chocolate bars.
Yeah, but they could argue that you've got more enriched ingredients.
Well, that's what
you've got more refined ingredients.
Yeah, but we don't put in any of the shit we used to put in nowadays.
Absolutely, but
we put in more wholesome foods.
Absolutely, they could say that as a retort. But the thing is that you don't need to buy it anyway because it's rubbish.
Absolutely. I mean, we go to your supermarket, half the food
is
rubbish.
It's rubbish. Absolutely, you get a lot of your cakes, your biscuits, your pop cereals. A lot of cereals are rubbish.
Yeah.
The ready-made meals. I call them slop in a pot.
Slop in a pot, yeah.
Absolutely, of course. But the thing is, they keep you alive.
Well, yeah, but they could if they stopped making the shit, they could focus more on quality food for people.
Absolutely, of course. But it's all absolutely. But at the end of the day, we're all in agreement, I'm sure, that this society we're living in is total rubbish.
Could be so much better.
Could be so much better.
Yes,
absolutely, of course. And what else have we got? So I've ordered some more. I've ordered some Melodia. So I'm hoping.
Dear.
Yeah, hello, dear.
Hello.
So that's what somebody says when they come home from work.
Yeah, hello, dear.
Hello, dear. Absolutely, yeah. So I'm hoping to continue our photosynthesis trials already before Christmas as well, hopefully.
Yeah, and we've got a few things lined up for people.
Yeah, we've got a few things, some very interesting stuff lined up for people over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, because it's amazing, when you have in your cupboard, when you have a bottle of vinegar, acetic acid, and you have a few other things. It's amazing what you can do. And then you get a result and you think, oh, we've got some material for another video.
Absolutely, of course, yeah. But it's good. So we've got those, and then we've got to have a break in the new year as well.
And we have to say we are going to do a video on Christmas Day with a Pete and Pete's Christmas message.
Absolutely, yeah. We're going to absolutely, and all we'll do is just talk about what we talked about tonight. That's basically the globe started a load of rubbish.
Absolutely,
it could be an awful lot better.
And we'll also have a New Year's message as well.
Will we?
Yeah. Well, the Prime Minister Theresa May will be.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it? You've got the Queen's message, okay, and then you've got the Prime Minister. They give out a message as well.
Yeah, but the Queen's message is on.
As if one isn't enough.
The Queen's message is on Christmas Day because it's religious day.
Absolutely.
Whereas the Prime Minister is a business day. So it's
business.
New Year's
now
Day.
She should be doing hers at 1st of April, beginning of the tax year.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
April Fool's Day.
Absolutely. She's the manager. She's the manager of the business.
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely, of course. And there's the Queen. She thinks Jesus,
no, God has given her the right to rule.
Absolutely. See, the thing is, even the royalty have got to have some kind of security to justify why they're in the position that they are, when they know deep down inside that they're no different or better than anybody else.
Absolutely.
Or you. So what they do is they have this thing called religion.
Yeah.
And they start believing to themselves that God has given them the right to reign and to rule over the kingdom.
But that's a belief.
But that's just a belief.
And everybody knows the within the word belief is the word lie.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, it's so easy to work out. This is why, you know, we're not anti-religious, but we just feel that people don't need religion at all.
No, you don't need
Nobody
to
needs
live.
it.
You don't need to live with religion.
There was a story about Mother Teresa. Now, everyone's heard of Mother Teresa, I'm sure. And in her last final days, she reached a point where she was questioning her belief of God. She actually got to a point where she was saying, I just don't believe in God anymore. How can I believe in God anymore? So, you know, how can that, it doesn't, you can't reconcile that piece of information, can you?
No, you can't. No.
You know, and I'm sure that understanding's been mirrored in, there's been somebody else who had the same kind of, you know, their belief in God waned as they get older.
Yeah, because you begin to realise that
it's a load of rubbish.
As you get older, you begin to realise that
it's a load of rubbish.
That there is not this God that can save them.
Yeah, because we have a different understanding. I mean, we take it from a very pragmatic, realistic point of view, don't we?
Yeah,
we do. And you know, we tend to think that there's, you know, it's just all about interpretation. How do you interpret God? What do you think God is for you? You know, I mean, some people think that, you know, well, a lot of people just don't know what God is. But you know, in our understanding, we just think God is just an experience. You know, it's as simple as that. And when you read the Bible, I've never read the Bible full, but when you take out certain bits, you begin to realize that a lot of it relates to real life, but it's in code. It's encoded. So it's very difficult for you to actually relate it straight away, you know. So you've got to read between the lines, think, oh, I know what they're talking about there. It's like the word angel, for example. We know what the word angel refers to.
Yeah.
It's all, the Bible's filled with metaphors. It's all metaphors. God is a metaphor. Angel is a metaphor. The Holy Spirit is a metaphor. They're all metaphors that relate to real life, to real everyday human experience.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, Satan is a metaphor. You know, it's all, you know, but you don't need religion.
Yeah, you don't need it.
Why don't you just have real life?
Yeah, real life.
Real life, because there's nothing wrong with it.
Because then you don't have the story.
Everybody lives it. Everyone lives it.
And you don't.
Well, the whole point of waking up was realizing that we weren't slaves. That's one thing.
But we're not slaves.
But nobody's a slave.
Nobody is a slave.
Anybody can leave their front door and go. Everybody. Anybody. The Queen can get up and go.
Absolutely.
If she wanted to, if she truly wanted to, she could get up and go. Yeah. She can leave it all, ditch it, the lot.
Yeah.
Bye, Bucky.
Oh, Bucky Palace.
Bye, corgis.
Oh, she could downsize.
She could downsize. Yeah. She might say to her advisor, her top advisor, I'd like a little country retreat somewhere, something small, you know, nothing too plush, you know. Bam, you've got it, you know. And there it is.
Yeah.
You know, so she's downsized. She lives in this bungalow, you know, somewhere Southend-on-Sea, you know, on the front somewhere, you know, and you know, it suits her and Philip's needs. You know, they can retire and they can just live out the rest of their days, you know, go into a care home, you know. That's exactly what they do anyway.
Right. Absolutely. It's just that the rooms are bigger.
The rooms are bigger. You know, nothing changes. Her life doesn't change even if she moved from Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle, and she moved into a bungalow.
Yeah. See,
nothing's different.
See, now we could go into an interesting conversation about the royal family, which is totally not flat Earth related, because in our view, one of the reasons why they have a royal family.
Now this is a good, interesting.
One of the reasons why they have a royal family, why any country has a royal family, is simply,
well, this is our opinion.
This is our opinion.
This is our opinion, of course.
Is to set an example.
It's to set an example to the people,
to the population, how to behave.
How to behave, absolutely.
To one another.
To one another, absolutely.
The royal family sets standards.
Set standards, absolutely.
So, for example, Pete was talking about that Liz and Philip can live out their days in a care home.
Or in a bungalow.
Or in a bungalow, or in a care home.
Seafront at Southend, you know.
Now, if you were Queen, you were having people care for you because you're old and frail, you'd want that for your population.
Absolutely.
So you'd say, well, let's apply that standard and give it to other people.
Give it to other people.
So you have all these care homes popping up all
Absolutely.
over the country.
Royal Charter
These care
ensures that elderly people get the best, get cared for
their basic needs.
Royal Charter, not by law, legislation, but by Royal Charter.
Because I think one of the things that we think a lot of people forget, and that is a lot of people, especially in the global society, they think it's Parliament that makes all the decisions. They run the show. These MPs that people vote for, no,
That's rubbish.
They're demented.
That's rubbish. Absolutely.
That's all rubbish. The things that run the show are what's known as royal charters.
Absolutely, royal charters.
They are set in stone, and they are things that these MPs have to adhere to.
For example, the government has to, by royal charter, provide education, provide national health service,
Provide libraries,
councils have to provide adult services.
absolutely,
By royal charter. Now, if these aren't being implemented, they are essentially breaking royal charter. They are breaking the Queen or the monarch's royal decree. And that's when they're in big trouble. That's why they'll always uphold libraries, they'll always have an education, because it's all done and controlled, and it's there in place by royal charter. And royal charters don't change.
So that's our understanding of why they have a royal family. Why they have is to
set an example.
To set an example of how to behave.
Because
hello, how are you today? I'm fine,
when you think, when you think about it, wherever the Queen goes or a member of the royal family, everybody's nice to them. Oh, hi, how are you? Oh, hi, ma'am. Everybody's nice to them. Nobody says, oh, bloody hell, what are you doing here?
Look at that fucking dress you're wearing.
Absolutely
Horrible.
Nobody's rude to them.
Absolutely, yeah.
Everybody's nice to them, and they show to people how to be nice, and they're never rude and nasty to other people.
No,
when they meet them, the Queen,
apart from Nicholas Witchell,
you can't imagine the Queen getting out of her car and she treads in dog poo. And she goes, "Oh, who the fuck put all that dog shit?"
Oh, right, yeah.
You parked the car in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Why don't you put? These things don't happen. She's able to be really nice to people because she's in that position. This society, our society, has allowed her and her family and supporters to be in that position where they can be nice. She can be nice. She sets a good example because she behaves in a very nice manner to everyone else. There's an awful lot of people who don't behave like that at all. Swearing a lot, get drunk,
and there's an awful lot of people who
get violent,
and there's an awful lot of
commit crime.
There's an awful lot of people who would behave a lot worse.
Absolutely. She sets a good example. She gives the nation the way, the light on how to behave in a very nice and cordial manner, friendly, approachable.
Yeah.
How else would we know? How could we identify? What would we identify with to be nice when we're seeing our family members rowing at each other, our neighbours rowing and arguing, when we're seeing fights in the pubs, when we're seeing all of this negative behaviour? What can we identify so that we ourselves can be nice as human beings
to other people?
So that we know how to behave in a nice way. Oh, well, let's have a monarchy.
Yeah.
A monarchy will show us how to behave.
Show us the way.
But we think that's unfair because we're very nice anyway, aren't we?
Well, you don't need a monarchy to set an example on how to treat people.
Education.
It's all down to education.
It's all down to education. And I'm sure a lot of people know, that education in this country is absolutely rubbish. It can be a whole lot better. There's people taught rubbish, about Newton's laws of motion, logarithms, in
Laws of
maths,
gravity.
algebra, simultaneous equations,
Yeah, rubbish.
physics, gravity, and all this
But we're not
rubbish.
taught anything about interaction,
Other people,
other people.
life,
Yeah.
We're
No
not taught that at all.
communication.
you know, and so, you know, this is why it's annoying that when you see a lot of teachers pretend a lot.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Oh,
you've done that,
all of
haven't you?
my pupils, they've got such wonderful talent. They're wonderful pupils, and they're so good at what they do. You know, blah blah blah. And yet, you know, there could be pupils there who swear, who smoke, you know, who steal from the shop round the corner.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's ridiculous, isn't it?
But
Absolutely
it doesn't
ridiculous.
reflect. It's not reflective of
Reality, yeah.
real life.
Everybody wants to skim over everything, pretend it's not there.
Yeah, pretend it's not there. Yeah,
Yeah, chuck it. Yeah,
they want to live the dream,
sweep
not
it under the
reality.
carpet.
Live
Absolutely,
the dream and
yeah.
not the reality. But there we go.
But yeah, and this is
Back to being authentic because nobody wants to be real.
absolutely, yeah. But I suppose one of the things, and that is, you know, I suppose for me, from my point of view, and that is like our channel, for example, it does. I think it does set a good example in authenticity.
Well, we don't because we don't edit our videos because we try and not. Well, we don't edit them at all. We just do them off the cuff.
Off the cuff.
And if we get it wrong,
If we get it
we
wrong,
might start it again.
We start again, but generally we'll just go through our videos through the hour. We'll just do it, and we'll put it together and then upload it.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So if there's a bit of information we get wrong, we'll think about, well, you know, people get things wrong anyway. It's human. People make mistakes. Okay, you know, it's only natural for people to do that anyway. And it's authentic. You know, this is one of the reasons why I've seen lots of YouTube videos where people have, you know, you've seen a scene and then it cuts and you see he's cut a bit out of it, you know, and I'm thinking, well, what's the point of that?
Yeah, I know.
What's the point of that? Well, why don't you just do it without all this editing?
Be yourself.
Be yourself.
Absolutely, yeah. Be yourself.
So I do find that, you know, our videos are they do set a good example in that they're genuine, they're authentic. You know, we talk about real life. We don't talk about rubbish like conjecture stuff, like you know,
giants, for example.
Giants, or we're not talking about,
or dwarfs.
You know, we're not talking about like football.
Like football.
You know, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You know, but we talk about real life, real people, and that's something a lot of people don't do. A lot of people don't go there. So it's for a viewer to come to the channel and watch our videos. It's very refreshing because a lot of people will identify with that kind of conversation. Because everybody experiences it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, how many times has somebody gone into a room where not many people like them?
Yeah. Well, you go into a room and it all goes quiet.
Absolutely.
Or I say something?
How many people have been in a relationship that's crap?
Absolutely,
you know, lots of people. You know, these are the things that we kind of talk about because these are real life. And so,
and in some ways, those things are more important to people than even whether the Earth's flat or
because we can't change. We can't change what's 3 miles beyond our horizon, can we? We can't. We can't change. We can't go to the moon. We can't know what the sun is.
Can change.
But we can start to understand our lives and start to understand the people in our lives.
Well, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
You know, and that's more important for each and every one of us
because it's more beneficial. It's more. You can have a realistic outcome.
Absolutely, of course.
Because you can see some kind of improvement.
Absolutely, of course.
You can see the benefits of it.
We had one guy who left a comment on our channel, and you know, I mentioned him earlier, not by name, but he knows his chemistry. He's obviously very knowledgeable, and he even said that if we given more time, we have the basis for a very thingy theory. He used the word. I can't remember.
I can't think of the actual word.
Yeah, but we've got good grounding for a acceptable theory of chemistry. And I look at a lot of the claims that we do make, like water not being hydrogen and oxygen, as one example, and I'm thinking, yeah, nobody can disprove you. Nobody can do it at all.
Yeah, because that's the sort of things that we tap into. It's looking at the things that can't be disproven.
Absolutely, it's great because we've ever since
because that is a good way of showing it up. Because if you can actually come up with a claim that nobody can disprove, that's very simple.
It's very simple.
Very fundamentally basic. Nobody can disprove. Then what does that show about your mainstream understanding?
Absolutely. I mean, our first video on water not being H2O was last year, sometime, and I have to admit, not one person. A lot of people have said, "Oh, that's just ridiculous. That's nonsense." That is. Even flat earthers have said to us, "Oh, it's just ridiculous and nonsense."
Oh, yeah.
But we're still here. We still have the same views. We're still pumping out the videos. Not one person has shown us a video that debunks or conflicts or puts us in the wrong, that our view or opinion is wrong. Not one person has done that.
Yeah. And you would have thought they would have done.
And you would have thought they would have done by now.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I suppose that's what you get when you.
So really, when you think about it, how right are we?
Well,
you've got to ask yourself, how right is it for anyone to think water to be simply water, an element unto itself?
But even thinking that water is made of hydrogen and oxygen is, in some ways,
ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Because there's no basis for it. Because you can come along and think up another idea of what water is.
Absolutely, yeah.
And nobody can disprove it.
And the guy's comment today, just reinforces that view.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, like 10 years ago, to ever come up with a kind of like an idea, an understanding that water isn't hydrogen and oxygen, and actually go through a lot of the evidence that supports that view, and actually come to the view that no one can touch you.
Oh no, yeah.
To think that then would have been, wow, that's unbelievable.
Well, you'd be like one of the people who leave comments on the video saying it's ridiculous.
I laugh every time I watch your videos, but the reality is, it's a claim that still stands. It's been, since the very first video, it's been well over a year, I'm sure, and the claim still stands. Not one person has come to our channel, left us a link.
Oh, you've been debunked.
You've been debunked.
Yeah.
Here's your proof.
Yeah.
Not one person.
And we'd love for someone to, because then we can take the videos down.
No, we don't have to do anymore. If we're wrong, it's ridiculous. I mean, what society are we living in?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
If when I was at school, if I'd have realised then what I realise now about it all, I wouldn't even have bothered to go to school. Because I would have just been learning rubbish.
Well, yeah, basically, yeah. Because it doesn't say much about your education.
Absolutely, but the worst thing is that 99% of the population go through the same education.
Yeah, I know.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Now you'd never want to sit in front of a teacher again, would you?
Well, I don't mind sitting in front of them, but I'll be telling them where they're going wrong.
You said, no, I'm not going to be going to school.
Yeah, but that's why it's very hard educating adult learners.
Adult learners are very difficult. I mean, if I went to a college now, or if I went any educational establishment now at my age, with knowing what I know, I'd be giving them a hard time.
Yeah.
But
have you come to know that?
Where's your proof then?
Where's your proof of that?
Where's your proof of that? But you haven't got any. So you're standing here telling me the plants give off oxygen when you've got no proof of that. That's absolutely what you're giving it sodium bicarbonate, but there's oxygen in there.
Yeah, how do you know the oxygen's not coming from the sodium bicarbonate?
Absolutely. Well, have you tried another carbonate?
Oh, right, let's try another carbonate. Oh no, we can't do that. No, can't.
It's crazy. It really is crazy. Yeah, absolutely. If people realise how much rubbish there is in this society, wow.
Yeah, but I think
the worst thing is some people think it's absolutely true.
Yeah.
They think it's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're the people.
Oh, they've landed a rover on Mars.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, landed a rover on Mars. Yeah.
Do you know that Chinese apparently are trying to simulate the sun? They're trying to create all these very, really high temperatures so they can create nuclear fusion.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I can't work out if they can create all of these immense high temperatures. What's going to hold that high temperature? We haven't got anything. They haven't made anything to be able to withstand those temperatures.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's the point. Yeah.
So how are they going to contain that temperature?
Yeah. I mean, what's the highest temperature that man has ever made?
I think it was about 9. No, that's the substance. Substance has got like about 9,000, I think. Wasn't it about 7,000?
I don't know.
9,000 degrees centigrade.
Theoretical. They calculated.
They calculated that. They calculated that. It's just ridiculous,
Yeah, because when you actually look into the practicalities of what many claims set out to make, you think it's impossible. Absolutely impossible.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I've got to admit, you and I are very. I mean, we know a lot of truths in life. So the Earth being flat, or water being just water, and all this lot, they're pretty much tame. So we can cope with those quite well. But I mean, there's a lot of people who just don't realise just how much untruths there are, how many untruths there are in society.
Well, it's like, breathing in oxygen. They allegedly breathed in 100% pure oxygen in the Apollo missions and also the Gemini missions. So they were breathing oxygen for at least 3 days.
3 days. Even on the command module as well.
Command module, whatever.
On the lunar lander, in the spacesuits.
Pure oxygen. And Pete and I both know, and we hope some of the people listening will know, that breathing in pure oxygen at more than 50%.
More than 50%
concentration for more than 24 hours.
Absolutely.
Will cause serious lung problems.
Lung damage, really.
How
absorption atelectasis.
Just knowing
oxygen toxicity.
Just knowing that.
Acute respiratory
distress
syndrome.
Just knowing that information.
Absolutely, yeah.
No way.
No way, Jose. Absolutely.
No way.
It's ridiculous.
So, for some people, the Earth is flat because of water. Just knowing water.
Absolutely knowing. Yeah, just knowing that is enough.
Is enough.
Is enough. And then they realise, yeah, absolutely. That's all I need to know.
I think a lot of it I'd probably say a lot of it for some of our subscribers is that, we do open up. We do get people to think, and we do get people to think that, not just we don't really talk much about the Earth being flat, because we'd like to think that a lot of people who listen to our videos know that the Earth is flat, or know that people think the Earth is flat. But we open people's minds up to lots of other things in society.
Absolutely, of course.
Because when you realise that there's a lot of BS in society, you have to start looking at where it is. Where is it?
It's everywhere.
It's fine saying we've got to question everything, But let's stop questioning everything. Let's go and find that BS. Let's go and find it and let's reveal it to people.
Absolutely, yeah.
You
Let's
know.
absolutely, yeah. Let's uncover it.
Let's uncover it. Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah.
you know.
I'm surprised that, yeah, sure.
Because I suppose when you if you're saying like question it, you're doing it more on an individual basis.
Well, you could do it in a closet level, can't you?
Closet level.
You can hide in your closet, and,
or when you're watching TV.
absolutely, yeah, sure.
Or question that. Yeah.
But
let's uncover it. Let's uncover the BS.
absolutely, because yeah, the worst thing is that when you talk to people on a very basic one-to-one level, everyone agrees with you.
Yeah, no, you could. But I bet you or anyone listening.
That's the worst thing.
Could go to their workplace or go out into a bus stop or a train station or whatever, and get into a conversation with someone. Say, yeah, there's a lot of rubbish.
It's all BS, isn't it? It's all rubbish.
People will agree with you.
Absolutely, people will agree with you. But if you take that person, okay, and you put them in with other people, and then you started expressing your views, that's no.
Oh,
No, you're all wrong there, mate.
Yeah.
You know, it's people. People, yeah, people.
Yeah, people. Yeah.
People make society, and at the end of the day, we've got the globe society. So what does that say or tell us about the people
living in it?
There is one thing. A lot of people blame them like they say, "Oh, it's everybody else's fault." The only way we make community is doing it ourselves.
Sorry, Karen.
Say that again, Karen.
Everybody likes to blame people, blame the government. But the reason we haven't got communities is our fault. Only the people make communities. We have to start in our own back gardens. We make the communities, not the government.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just total control over.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. However, the unfortunate part of it all is that we've got to take into account the reality of life. More people are communicating online. More and more people are going online. Less and less people are going out. So there's you talking about the community and all this lot, whereas communities are going online. We've got an online community. Facebook is an online community, for example. People are talking. How many people are walking down the street with their mobile phone? You know, we're living in changing times where people are finding more comfort down the internet than what they are in
talking to a stranger,
or even being out in real time, real life.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's great news for the globe society, great news because they're not bothered, But, for any kind of community to survive outside of being online and actually being in reality, there's big problems coming.
Yeah, because if you actually think that, say, in 20 years' time, a lot of these community groups will be struggling.
Absolutely.
Literally struggling to find members to keep going.
Yeah.
So you'll find that there'll be a government initiative that will try to encourage people to come off these computers.
Absolutely, yeah.
Come off the phones. Be part of your community.
But because a lot of children, for example, nowadays, they're growing up with the internet all on their phones, they're losing those skills of being social. They're losing the personal interaction, the social interaction. So when it's time for them to come offline, because they'll have to at some point, nobody can stay online for all of their life.
No,
nobody can do that. But at the end of the day, when that does happen, they will be lost because they won't know how to communicate to other people. And that's a big problem because communicating to you now is totally different to if you were here and we were having a little chat or what, everything. It will be totally different. And that's a big thing. A lot of people think, well, but it's just the internet. This is the way we do things. But it's not. It's not the natural way to be communicating.
Because we have mouths. We have.
Well,
we can pick up body language.
We can pick up body language. We can pick up so many signals that the internet deprives us of getting.
Yeah. So in some ways, you could be talking to a robot, for example.
Absolutely, yeah, sure.
You know, you just don't know. You could be talking to a robot.
It's like the guy
Having
with
a one-way
yeah,
conversation.
absolutely, yeah. It's like the guy with his sex bots.
Oh,
You know,
the
that
guy
guy
with his sex bots
You
over
know.
in America.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. You know, he's got these dolls. You know, he's got his dolls. You know, that he treats as his girlfriends, and you think,
Yeah.
what, you know, this is ridiculous.
Even kisses
Crazy.
them as well.
Absolutely, you know, he strokes their hair, and you know,
Yeah, he probably
This
has
is
sex with them as well.
absolutely, yeah. This is yeah. But when you think about the reality of it, it's so pitiful.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? How great situation. This great situation comedy this would make. And that is if you walked, you were going home one day and you were coming back from work or whatever. And say if you're a woman, for example, and then you went in, opened your door to your front door, and then you got you know, sort of relaxed and settled in. Then you heard a little noise upstairs in the bedroom. So you thought, oh, what's that going on up there, eh? So then you kind of tiptoe up because you think say if you're married and your husband's, you think your husband's, I don't know, out or whatever. You go up, and then you open the door, and then your husband's having sex with a sex bot.
Yeah.
But can you imagine how walking in on that?
That would be quite damaging.
You wouldn't
Really?
know. It's like the guy in America who's got these 2 sex bots. It's like seeing it on a screen and looking how.
But when it hits you in real life,
if you actually walked in on him and seeing that, you'd think he's got serious mental health problems.
Absolutely. I mean, I've got to admit, yeah. I mean, soon they'll be having robot dogs and pets. You know.
Yeah.
You'll have. I'm surprised people haven't got blow up cats and dogs.
Well, they probably have.
And they dress them in all of the, you know.
Yeah.
Hi, could you, would you, woo? You know, blow up babies.
Yeah. But it doesn't say much about the human species, does it?
With the pram, can you imagine going down the supermarket in your pushchair?
Oh, right, yeah.
And inside you've got your blow up baby.
Oh, a blow up baby.
And it makes a noise.
Oh, right, every now and again.
Now and again, yeah, now and again. This is what people are becoming like.
Yeah.
They're becoming very pretentious.
Yeah.
Very pretentious.
But
that goes beyond ridiculousness.
Yeah, but the pretentiousness is filling a void in their life.
Absolutely, of course. This is what it all boils down to, and it all boils down to, at the end of the day, education. Not being educated about real life, about what would enrich people's lives, what benefits people's lives, the positives of being alive.
Absolutely, yeah.
The lack of education, because we're taught rubbish.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, that's probably one of our big beefs, and that's with the education.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you and I do have a big beef with.
It's just rubbish.
We do. I'll hold my hand up. You know, I do have a big beef with education because my education was absolute rubbish, and I have to admit, you know, if I really could get my money back, I would be there right at the door banging. I want my money back, because as far as I'm concerned, my education helped ruin my life. And, you know, at the end of the day, that's unfair for me. That's unfair of a society to do that to me.
Basically,
that's one of the reasons why I really dislike the Globe Society.
Absolutely.
So there we go.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's probably
absolutely, of course,
who feel the same way.
They feel the same way, absolutely. Yeah. So, because I don't think, you know, loads of people would want their money.
Well, it's like that bloke you met on the streets who said,
the one who dissed me because I thought they didn't. I said that they didn't go to the moon. Him,
the guy who educated himself because he thought his
education was rubbish. Absolutely, of course. I know, yeah. You know, it's, you know,
that's the trouble. That's the trouble with the Globe Society, and that is it lets too many people down.
Absolutely.
Too many.
So, you know, when people come along who've got, there's a new movement, you know, if you can call it revolutionary, you know, it's okay, it's great. But at the end of the day, please,
don't let people down.
Yeah. Don't take on board the ills of the Globe Society.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to change anything.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Absolutely. Set a good example, you know.
Yeah, be like the royal family.
Absolutely, of course. There, Peter.
Absolutely,
Wonderful.
yes.
Be nice to everybody. Be happy.
Absolutely, be nice to everybody. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, of course.
So there we
Curtsy.
go.
You have to do some curtsies.
Oh, you could do if you wanted to.
No,
Yeah, sure.
no.
But you know, I mean, it's all there. You go. I mean, it's. I mean, there's. Yeah, that there you go. I mean, I feel as if we've done it all.
Yeah, we've done it all.
Feels as if we've done it all. Really,
We've conquered.
We've conquered. We've been there. We've conquered. We've climbed. We've
got a
conquered.
T-shirt. Yeah,
Absolutely, of course.
and we've won. We've won.
And we've succeeded. Absolutely, of course.
Yeah, we've won.
Because we're still standing here. I feel like doing. I'm still standing by Elton John.
Oh, yeah. Or what you could do is you could pretend to be Amundsen buys tent,
Absolutely.
and Karen could be there as if she's taking she's taking the photo. Yeah, she's taking the photo.
Yeah, I'm here at the pole, at the South Pole,
and we're saying, yeah, water's not hydrogen and oxygen.
I'm not really at the South Pole.
There's no oxygen in the air. There's no nitrogen in the air.
Absolutely.
They're all processed gases.
They're all processed gases made by human beings in his manufactured existence.
Yeah, plants don't give off
Absolutely,
oxygen.
of course.
They don't photosynthesize.
Absolutely, yeah. I know it's just ridiculous.
It's all rubbish.
Because when I go out with Vic, you see, when I go out with Vic next year, I'll probably be a bit more vocal because sometimes I do actually let it slip. You know, well, you know, on the microphone, I'll say, has anybody ever got any oxygen from a plant? You know, and all this lot. Or I might say, can anyone see any oxygen, hydrogen, water? But I think next year, I might be a bit more vocal. Yeah, which will
that's another thing. Yeah. How can oxygen?
It's good to do different things with your channel anyway, isn't it? It's good to try different.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm the type of guy that I mean, I get bored easily. Okay, I do require
stimulation.
Yeah, I'm a high stimulator. I need high stimulation. Otherwise, you know, I get bored. But the things we do with our channel, I find are okay. They're stimulating, aren't they?
Yeah, well, I think
that's why I get bored. I get bored with flat Earth. Do you know? I get bored with it.
Yeah, because you just regurgitate.
Absolutely, you just regurgitate the same old stuff, and I can't go over the same old. It's like when I go out with Vic, for example, I only keep it down to like an hour and a half, and I could organise to go out with him for a whole day. So we're out on the streets for the whole day. We just move around in town, okay, different locations. But I'd get bored talking about the same old stuff over and over and over, you know, because it's just me, you know. That's why I prefer to keep it to just to say an hour and a half, just go over it and just ad lib it kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, well, that's the best way to do it. Keep the goodness.
Yeah, sometimes less is more. You know, sometimes the really long hangouts, you end up repeating yourself, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, that's why we tend not to go into the early hours, and we're only on for a short time compared to others.
Yeah, because it's best to keep the goodness.
Absolutely. But I'm hoping, you know, because on our last presentation where Gary turned up, didn't he, from Ashton? So I'm really hoping that he'll come and turn up at our meeting.
Oh yeah,
at the end of the month.
That would be nice to see him.
So yeah, if anyone wants to come along, that's at the Custom House over at Watergate Street.
30th
Sunday the 30th. We're meeting up this month, or at the end of this month, because it's Christmas. So you know, feel free to come along. And they
on Saturday.
On a Christmas party.
No.
Aren't you going to do something on flat? You got a message to give on Flatmas Day.
Oh, Flatmas Day. Yeah, sure.
We'll do a little upload for people.
Oh, we'll do a little upload.
Pete's Christmas message.
Absolutely, of course.
Seasonal message.
Seasonal message, like no, we'll have to think about it.
We'll have to think about it.
Yeah, we've got that.
We'll have a news ticker in there, so it won't be that bad.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got a few changes, got a few improvements to do. With the channel.
Yeah, got to do a bit of ducking and diving.
You know,
up and down, you know.
Yeah, but we'll see it through. We've got the resolve. We've got the ambition and the goals and the drive to move forward.
move
to
forward.
succeed. So we should be pretty good,
and to get the message out there.
and sure, and we might come tops, at the end of it all,
Yeah, but I think it's really good to have an understanding like we do.
Absolutely, yeah. To be honest with
really
you,
do. I really do think
it's a wonder. It puts yourself in a position where you are you, and you're less influenced by other people who could maybe do harm to you, have one over on you, not do what's right for you, but do what's right for them. It's just so nice. It's just such a nice. It's a lovely position to be in life, isn't it?
It is similar to being a free man of the land.
Well, it's having a mind of your own is an amazing quality or ability to have, to know, and to have.
But everybody has that anyway.
Absolutely, yeah. But to know that you've got it is amazing, isn't it?
Oh, right, yeah.
It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, because for a lot of people, it was taken away from them.
Absolutely. When they were going to school and through their interactions with other people, and all that influence. But as soon as you start getting your own mind, wow. Absolutely amazing. Anyway,
I think we've
our
sell-by done.
I thought probably you'd stay for a couple of hours. We've been going for nearly 3 now.
Really? No,
it was really great listening to you.
No, I don't think we should. I mean, I've got. Karen wants us to go for another couple more hours.
No, we've been going for 3 hours.
No, yeah.
I did. I thought you were going to be here for a couple of hours.
But we passed our sell-by date now.
Yeah.
Definitely. Absolutely, yeah, sure. Our check's going to be in the post. I'll send you the invoice.
Yeah, we got things to do.
Yeah, we got things to do. I've got
people to annoy.
I've got to make a cup of coffee. I've got to go on the channel and say to all of these globies that they're idiots.
Oh no,
not really. Or that they're messed up.
Oh yeah, they've got mental health problems.
They got mental health problems. Absolutely, of course. I've got mental health problems.
Well,
but I hide them.
Yeah, we hide them very well.
Absolutely, of course.
Although some people would probably disagree.
Well, some people probably think we're very clever, but
absolutely.
I think some of this makes us all a bit eccentric, doesn't it? And it is talking about quite an intellectual thing. A lot of this.
I can understand that. I can understand that. But it's nice to have. But all you're expressing is your own ability to freely think.
Absolutely.
And if you can do that, then all you are expressing is your individuality.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's something that shouldn't be suppressed by other people who keep on saying to you that you're wrong.
Absolutely. So we do it instead.
Absolutely, of course.
We say to people that, if you think that aluminium is an element, you're wrong.
Absolutely.
Because we've actually found lots of information.
Absolutely, of course, yeah.
And we've even demonstrated that aluminium can't be an element.
Absolutely, yeah. Then we've got a lovely video on that, didn't we? On the flame test.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, a yellow flame,
reminiscent of sodium. What's sodium doing in aluminium? Aluminium's supposed to be an element. So when you have a piece of aluminium rod, it's supposed to all contain aluminium, nothing else but aluminium. So, but we get a gas given off from that, from its decomposition by water with the help of electricity, and that gas, when burned, shows signs of the presence of sodium.
Well, because it burned with a yellow
flame. What on earth is the sodium doing in this so-called element that's called aluminium?
And then we look at how aluminium is made, and then we realise that they put in sodium hexafluoroaluminate,
and that's where the sodium comes from. Plus, also the aluminium oxide has been mixed with sodium hydroxide with bauxite to produce the aluminium oxide, which is then poured down into the cryolite mixture.
So then you begin to wonder that aluminium is actually a
compound, compound metal,
sodium-based metal,
sodium-based metal, a manufactured metal.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, and not an element after all. There we go. And it's surprising actually, because not many people have disagreed with that.
No, they haven't actually. No, no.
It's great.
Everything back to front. So thanks for that. Thanks for explaining that.
Yeah, but a lot of it is all. You just got to look at how things are made.
Well, you see,
What goes in has to come out.
You see, the thing is, if chemistry is allowed to run its course, you'll find that in 100 years' time, there will probably be like 150 elements on the periodic table, and a lot of them would be manufactured
man-made
by human beings.
Absolutely.
And none of them would exist naturally. Absolute ridiculous.
And they'll always say that that element can be found out in the universe.
Absolutely. It's great, ridiculous. Helium is a great example, because helium doesn't occur naturally on Earth. Am I right?
Yeah.
But they found it in space, and apparently because it's such a light gas, it can't exist on the Earth. And I'm thinking, but how do they know that it's in space?
Yeah, I don't know. How can they? It's just crazy. Because the universe is the Earth.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's why they're able to say that
I think it was helium or something.
Hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe. But they're applying the word universe to the Earth.
To the Earth,
because
that
they know that that's where it is.
Because that's
restricted to.
No, that's the only place they've studied.
Absolutely, yeah.
The Earth.
Yeah.
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 Can we wrap it up there, please, Karen? Because
I've got to go.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful pleasure. Thank you ever so much.
And we'll say goodbye to each other off air. But anyway, thanks so much, chat room, for being there. Very interesting evening. Lots of nice comments coming. And we're back tomorrow with Jin and Roxanne. So anyway, thank you so much, Patricia, sitting there very quietly. She did speak a little bit. And Peter, mwah, and Pete, mwah.
Oh, all right, we even get a kiss.
Yeah, thank you ever so much. Yeah, thanks for coming along.
Yeah, thanks to everybody
enduring our conversation.
Yeah, thanks everybody in
Oh,
chat.
great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, of course. And I won't say have a good Christmas.
Have a good seasonal holiday.
Have a good holiday.
Seasonal holiday.
Absolutely, of course.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, there you go. So thanks ever so much.
Okay.
Yeah. Goodbye from us. Thank you.
See you. Bye.